don't know why I didn't automatically mute everyone. Whoops. All right. Hello, what's up, everybody? I gotta update my intro. I got a new logo and I forgot about that. I got a new updated logo. So okay. Hello everybody. Welcome. If you don't know who these guys are, they are the Orange Grove crew, and I will let them introduce themselves in just a minute. Thanks everyone for being here. So these guys mostly cover theme park, and you guys delve a little more into the pop culture stuff now too, like Marvel and everything. I'll let you guys will be able to explain it better than I can. But before we say hi to everybody, I want these guys to introduce themselves. The link is also in the chat for their YouTube, so follow, especially if you like theme park stuff. These guys are great. And just real quick, the first channel that I was ever on was their channel. It was over a year ago now. So the first interview that I ever did when I started, doing more YouTube stuff was over on the Orange Grove channel, and it's a great interview. So you guys should go check that out. I actually should go find it and put it in the chat. So while you guys introduce yourselves, I'm going to do that. We'll go in order. We'll start with Vash, then Orange Grove, then George. So tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hey, what I do? Well, I'm
I don't really know.
55 as somewhat of a co-host, right? We record a bunch of videos together talking all about theme parks, specifically mostly Disney theme parks, especially the ones in Southern California. But we do have an outlet for that too, which we'll get into in a moment. But we also talk about Universal and stuff like that. But we've have a range of shows over there on the Orange Grove 55 network with the original flavor of Orange Grove 55 and Orange Nerd. We talk about everything related to Disney's C-suite, everything related to the entertainment industry and so forth. That's a lot of fun. Citrus George down below right there with his Citrus Corner, where we talk about everything Walt Disney World News related. And then we have another show on there, Story Geeks with Jay, talking about the stories that impact our lives. We're right now covering all of the entries into the Indiana Jones saga, including the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. So that's very, very fun. And my show there, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juicy news and info, squeezed fresh right from the Grove. And if anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, you can go do so right down there, at VashSky. For all that robust discussion about the entertainment industry right there.
There we go.
Wonderful. And of course, Orange Grove 55 over here.
Thank you so much for having us, Wicked. Amanda, thank you so much. So you can catch me on Twitter at Orange Grove 55, and you can catch us on YouTube, where I'm joined by these two fellas all the time. We talk about theme parks most of the time, but we also dive into film, TV, a lot of C-suite stuff like Ray was talking about. We covered the Bob Chapek stuff, like, oh my gosh, like crazy. Bob Iger, Christine McCarthy, right? Like we're like neck deep in all that corporate shenanigans. It's a lot of fun. So check us out on YouTube, Orange Grove 55. George, you're up.
Gracias. Yes. So I'm pulling in the caboose here, but yes, I am George, also known as Citrus George, as part of the Orange Grove 55 channel with Citrus Corner, as my brother above, Mr. VashSky, had pointed out, where I cover all the Walt Disney World and Disney Cruise Line news, basically everything on the east side of the Mississippi River. That's
Sorry, that was my bad. Go ahead. I accidentally had the tab up. Sorry.
You're good. So yeah, if you want to find me, you can interact with me on Twitter at Disney George. You could also check out a podcast I am part of called A Walk with Walt, where we cover all the historic and nostalgic, rich history of the company through the eyes of the founder himself, Mr. Walt Disney. And of course, you'll find me on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Pay attention, it's Joe time.
There you go. And I was actually going to do a Star Tours one, because you started with Star Tours. And there we go.
There you go.
I think you guys are professional or something. I feel like I'm the one messing up. I always mute it. I don't know what happened. I feel like my computer sabotaging me. I always have the tab muted for the YouTube chat. So I'm just going to go ahead and blame my computer for that one. But thank you guys so much for being here. I couldn't find I have to go through it again. Because you guys post a lot of videos. I couldn't find my video because it was, gosh, how long ago was it now? It was over a year. So I have to really dive. I'll have to really dive for that one. But check them out. just check them out anyways. Their videos are amazing. Get a lot of good news over there from them. But let's dive in real quick and say hi to the chat. I'm not ignoring you guys. Don't worry. What's up, Hokies? How you doing? Corey, you're gonna be yelling. Okay, well, good thing I can't hear you. It's all good. Hi, Americus. Blabs is here. What's up, Blabs? Too high strung. I see you. What's up, Trey? Andrew. I'm not your buddy guy. Hello. Hey, nobody yelled at us for being late. Really weird.
That's good.
Greetings. What's up, Gravy? And thank you guys. There's Theme Park Casual. What's up?
Casual.
America's Hush. He's my troll moderator. Okay. Eric Stone. What's up, Eric? Thank you so much. Anyways, so I'll start with one question first, and we'll again go in order to keep it, easy instead of everyone jumping around. But what made you fall in love with theme parks? I'm sure it was a story from when you were a kid. Most kids, besides me, I didn't get to go to any of the cool theme parks when I was a kid. My first time was the last couple of years. But what was it that made you just really, okay, this is for me. I love going to theme parks. This is my thing. We'll start with Bash.
You got it. Well, I had been going to theme parks since before I was born. It's interesting because my mother couldn't go on Splash Mountain when it had originally debuted back in 1989 at Disneyland Park. What is it? July 17th. Yes, it debuted on the birthday of Disneyland. That was interesting. But she couldn't go because, she was pregnant with me. So I have been going for all that time right there. And we would go to Disneyland pretty much every single year, and Universal Studios Hollywood for that matter. We'd go there on kind of an annual basis right there. And for me, it was really cool, obviously going on rides, going in these themed environments was really fun. But as far as a love for going to, Disney parks or theme parks in general, that really didn't hit up until probably the 50th anniversary at Disneyland. And that was back in 2005. So I was like 15 at that time. And I remember walking into on Main Street, you have Town Square right there, and you have the Great Moments of Mr. Lincoln Theater in there. And they had a display of all of Disneyland's history pretty much right there. And they had a film that was playing in the Great Moments Theater in the Opera House. And there was this cast member who was going through the displays and going through the unique history of Disneyland that I didn't even know existed, even though I had been going there for quite some time. I knew it was a park that was built in about the 1950s, but I didn't know the very unique history to that park. So I was like, I really want to learn more about this. And the cast member was like, okay, well, if you want to learn more about this, then there's a place you got to go here at Disneyland to buy a DVD set. It's the Walt Disney Treasures DVD set on Disneyland. I believe it was Secret Stories of Magic at that time. So I was like, okay. So I ran out, got a copy, and put it in the DVD player, and I was just enthralled with the history that I was learning about, a lot of it for the first time ever. And it just kind of amped up from there. I wanted to know more and more and more. Obviously, that was the kind of the start of this kind of digital platform where you could finally talk with others about this kind of stuff, and I became kind of a member on the Mice Chat forums and reading Al Lutz's Mice Chat articles talking about all of Disneyland and what was going on and the happenings of that place. And then that turned into Twitter, Diz Twitter, that turned into vloggers and all that kind of stuff.
Twitter
And I just
special
went
place.
down the
Very
rabbit
special.
hole from there as those things started to develop, and my love of theme parks built from there. But it was all kind of that one historic amazing 2005 50th anniversary celebration was that was my introduction into it, because the festivities were just so unbelievably amazing. It really kind of built my love from there.
I love the history behind Disney. And hello, Jay. He came to say hi.
What's up,
What's
Jay?
up?
Hey, what up, 3PO?
I've seen, when I went to Hollywood Studios, I watched a film. I'm sure that it's also at Disneyland. That's kind of a bit of history on Walt, and I thought it was really interesting. It was, I'm sure, obviously they fixed the animation a bit and made it a bit updated, because obviously back in especially when he was younger, films didn't look as clear, but I thought it was so interesting. I actually really enjoyed that. So yeah, I get that. The history is really interesting behind everything he did. That's what makes it also so sad what's happening with Disney, because he built something
Yes.
so wonderful, and it was it was so long ago that he did this, and now they're just they're just diminishing everything. And didn't you say that didn't last time I was on, this was a year ago when I was on your channel, you were saying like how they're trying to get rid of him even in Disneyland, sort of, or it seems that way, you guys were saying, like.
Yeah, OG, maybe you can speak on that.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing every July 17th on Disneyland's anniversary. They would have like a special little ceremony in Town Square on Main Street and play his opening day speech. Last year was the first time they didn't do that. I was hot. I was so mad at these guys. I was so mad. Now they are kind of pulling that back a little bit. I think they kind of got a lot of complaints. They're kind of leaning a little bit more into Walt since then. So I think they've kind of course corrected a little bit. Like they added some more Walt Disney into some of the 50th anniversary stuff, like with the fireworks and all that. So we're starting to see them kind of course correct on that. But I think
now all three of us, I believe, are going to be there on July 17th this year as part of our big group trip. So, I mean, we'll see of how the difference is from last year to this year, because not only will OG be there again, you're adding another Italian and a Hispanic. So you have the three of us. We're gonna give them help.
If there's
Holy
anybody in the
cannoli,
chat, if there's anybody in the chat that's is listening here and wants to research this a little bit, look up New York Post Orange Grove 55. You'll find an article written using Orange Grove, OG here as a source for the outrage about not playing Walt's speech. It was a big deal,
I remember
made
we
media
talked
rounds.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you made quite a few videos where you're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's just rude. Okay, that's it. It's just rude.
It is.
Don't be
it is.
rude. It's supposed to be a happy
Right?
place, darn it.
It's crazy.
Americus wants to know if you guys need a German.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, we can use a German. Come on down. We'll be at City Hall together.
Imagine that, celebrating Walt at History Homes. But yeah,
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It took us all a lot by surprise. By the way, Theme Park Casual in the chat. Very nice. He's a regular of
Hello.
ours on
yes, I remember him
OG55.
when I was on. He's pretty cool. So OG, what made you fall in love with theme parks?
It's kind of an interesting thing. It wasn't even like the theme parks that were really like the catalyst for my journey. It was more the animation, to be honest. Like when I was younger, it was like I was like around 10 or 11 years old, right when like that Renaissance era of animation came out, like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. The Renaissance.
Era, that was it. Yeah.
Oh, love those films, right? And so when I was young, I fell in love with those movies. It got me really into animation to the point where I wanted to be a Disney animator. I was taking like art classes for years, went to art school for years and years and years to do it. Yeah, I was really into the animation. Once I got into the animation, it started to kind of dip. I kind of like bled into like the theme park stuff. And then I started to go like every year on my birthday to the parks and what have you. I was just like all in. Like, I think it was just the perfect time growing up for those amazing movies that really kind of sparked my love for like what this thing that Walt Disney created. Right. And like, I don't want to sound like a shill, but yeah, I've always loved loved Disney.
It's hard. Like we grew up with it, we grew up with the good part, the great animation. So it's not, I know what you mean, especially the way everyone, if you say something positive about Disney, it's like, oh, okay, shill. It's like, well, you know what?
Right.
I grew up with this. Let me have this.
Yes.
Stop. Let me have
exactly. Let me have this. So I was like all in on it. Like even as a kid, like I would like look at in the newspaper,
Cody's
like
there. Sorry. Hi,
what's
Cody.
up? What's up? Like even as a kid, I would like look in the newspaper for like the box office weekends for like Aladdin and like the stock price and stuff. Like I was like,
As a kid, you were like,
yeah, like I was all into it. So not much has really
That's
changed,
great.
Yeah, but that got me like I was just the animation and then into the theme parks and all that good stuff. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since.
Sorry,
Yeah,
OG. Sorry, OG. While you were looking at the trades, I was too busy jumping in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese.
Exactly.
George, same. I did the first time I went to Disney World was this year in January. So, and then was it last year or 2 years ago now? I don't even remember, but I was full grown adult before I went to any cool theme parks. Okay, I went to Six Flags and Chuck E. Cheese, and if you remember, actually, you know what? I went to DZ Discovery Zone. If anyone,
Oh my
remembers that,
gosh, I remember
was
that.
where I went.
I
didn't
used to
really-
love that. I'm so sorry, but the jingle, the DC at Discovery Zone. Oh my gosh!
Oh,
I
I know that.
I
now
just
the
dated
kids are
myself.
No, that's okay. That was the hot place.
Yes.
DZ was where all the birthday parties were at.
That's where kids want to be.
Yes, exactly. But no, so
Anybody
I didn't have that fun childhood memories of going to Disney World, sadly. But I'll show you guys, not right now, but I'll have to mute it because I have Disney music playing. But I made a little reel on Instagram because I was so happy when I finally went to Magic Kingdom. Oh, it was great. It was like 90 degrees, but I didn't care. It was fine.
Nice,
And
nice.
it rained like 3 times, but it's fine. It's Florida.
It's
But
Florida.
yeah, that's such a different story. OG, like I was looking at the stock. I've never heard of a kid doing that, but that's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah. I was all into it. Still am. Not much has changed, right, Dre? Like we still talk about the stock.
Yeah, we still talk about the stock price. We still talk about all that kind of stuff. I mean, I wasn't doing it in the 1990s. That's a little bit before my time. Like I was hanging out at Club Disney. I don't know about you, George, but when Club
Well,
Disney
yes.
was making its way out. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, yeah, and we dive into that stuff on the show pretty deep because it matters to like we're a theme park channel for sure, but if you like the theme parks, the stock price and what's going on in the company at large, that really does have a lot to do with what you actually finally see in the theme parks because a lot of times it's like, oh, we got to cut stuff. What are we going to cut? We're going to cut from the parks. And it's like, why is that building not looking as good as it has been before? And it's like, well, maybe that's why.
And that's what's
You're
so
following the story.
unique. And that's what's so unique about the Orange Grove 55 network is we dive into a lot of the internal stuff that a lot of people don't really focus on that we just, they go into the parks and it's like, oh yeah, there's the castle, there's the mountains, there's this or that. Well, it's like we dive into a lot of the skeletal process, if you will, that a lot of people don't really get to see the behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting. I love the behind the scenes stuff. That's at least I do. Not everyone. Some people are like, I just want to go there, I want to have fun, and that's it. But I love the history behind everything. I can't wait to go to Epcot. I was telling these guys before we started, it's hilarious because when I was on their channel, I'm like, I want to go to Epcot. I love food. I just want to go to Epcot and eat and meet Belle and all that stuff. Which I did meet Belle at Magic Kingdom, but it was different. It was. Do you guys have the story time with Belle over there where you can go and it's so
We
cool.
don't.
It's
We
so
don't.
cool. So it's her cottage, and you go through it, and it's especially great for little ones, especially if they're old enough to love Belle. She comes, and they let the kids be a part of the story a bit, and there's like the enchanted mirror it's really crazy. It tripped me out a little bit. Like I know I'm an adult, I know that magic is not real, but I'm like, man, if I was a kid coming here, whoa. So they have the magic mirror, and it like transports you to the castle because you're in her cottage, like waiting. That's like the queue for it. And it's really nice. It has like a picture of her mom, and her dad. And it's really cute. But then you go through the mirror, and I'm just like, whoa, full grown adult, like along with the 4-year-old kids, like, whoa, in the front. This is so cool. Yeah.
Yep.
So you walk through it, and they let the kids be a part of it, and it's really cute. And then she gives you a bookmark, and she takes pictures. And it's cute. I still want to meet her at Epcot though, because I feel like I don't know if it's the Belle in the blue and white dress there, or if she's in her yellow dress. Doesn't matter, but it's better because it's more of a meet. Like I didn't actually take pictures with her because there were so many kids. I was like, I'm not gonna be that person. I'll go to Epcot and meet her then. Like I'm not gonna be like move to the kids. Let me get my picture.
Yeah.
Belle
it's
at Epcot is in the village.
The village,
outfit. Yeah.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I like the village. I mean, the
Yeah.
yellow dress is iconic. It's cute, but I like the
Yeah.
blue.
And then how I know that too, because I actually do push the kids away if I want.
He's like, I actually am that. But okay, George, what made you fall in love with theme parks? You're probably closer, older, not a kid, because you just said, you were along with me and Chuck E. Cheese as a kid.
Yes. So for me, I started, well, I was always a thrill junkie. And but like OG, I started out with the animation. You know, I loved watching the Disney films. And of course, I was a 90s kid. So definitely the Renaissance, like, had a bigger stride for me than, I mean, I still enjoyed like the golden age of animation, what have you. But Beauty and the Beast, even till now, I will still argue is the greatest animated film of all time. I'm sorry. It just is. I will argue someone till the cows come home. But so I would watch all these films, and then I would, yeah, that is me, Move It, Move It Kid.
America's 2001. Yeah.
That so I got this video for my birthday. I was like 4, maybe 5. That it was one of the Disney sing-along songs, but I had like all the other ones, like the Friend Like Me, Be Our Guest, Hi Ho, and this one in particular looked different to me, and it was a live action. It was titled Disneyland Fun, and all the characters that I grew up with, watching the films, watching the cartoons, I thought, oh, this is a real place, and I started watching it, and it would show like scenes of the characters interacting with the kids in the parks. They would play the songs of Grim Grooming Ghost, Zippity Doo Dah. I know that's, but sorry, folks, it's a Disney classic.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh no one here is going to get offended by that.
Yeah.
You're so problematic, George. You're so problematic.
I know. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go. Kids, you like Zippity Doo Dah.
Of course. But so I told my mom, I said, is this really a real place? Because this was something that intrigued me, and it was of Disneyland. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to go to Disneyland up until I was 21. I went for my 21st birthday, but I made a lot of trips to Walt Disney World, and it was just the fascination that a person that created a company that started out in animation could make theme parks. And
Right.
You don't see that nowadays with any kind of corporation. That, you see, companies buying off, trading, what have you, but Walt started from the ground up as an animation studio, and then eventually dived into live action and television, and then theme parks. I mean, that's a tremendous feat that no one has ever accomplished, and is still impacting the world to this very day. And then that's when I started getting into the history of Walt himself, and the behind the scenes process of just film and television and the theme parks. And and then of course that's how I ended up going on social media, going on Twitter, going on Facebook, and watching YouTube, and writing actually on Twitter to Mr. OG55 himself to see if my question would get answered in one of his videos, for which he actually picked mine and actually got my last name correct, first try.
I'm a fellow Italian, George. Of course I got your last name right, buddy.
Of course. So, and then, we just started talking. He came on a podcast that I was part of at the time, and he asked me to join him on several shows of his channel. Ended up meeting Dre, and then the rest is history. We just became regulars, and he gave us the opportunity to join him on his show with our own little segments of the channel. For I'm forever grateful to both of these gentlemen. I mean, like, as I said, I don't take them just as friends. They're my family, and they're my brothers. We get on multiple times a week. We talk Disney.
You guys do a lot of videos.
Yes, we do. And it's like, so, and yeah, so we just look forward to, as Walt would say, keep moving forward.
Yeah. And George, what you brought up too with Walt was interesting, because it's like, here's a man who was like, yeah, you know what? I want to make the first sound cartoon, right? And by the time, right before he died, he's like, I want to build a city of tomorrow. Like, the amount of like amazingness that this man accomplished in 40 years is just mind blowing. The ambition was like through the roof. I mean, imagine if we had like 15, 20 more years with that guy. Like what do you have done? Like colonize Mars? What I mean, what would Walt Disney have done? You know, it's
It
crazy.
is hokey. This is Fast and the Furious OG style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about how much he would have accomplished too if he hadn't, passed away, because I feel like he wasn't even anywhere near done, because he didn't even get to finish Disney World. And
Yeah.
how different that probably would have been. And that's just so sad what happened. And then his brother passing away too. It bothers me so much that nobody from his family has the rights to actual Disney stuff. Like because I don't know. I know some of, movies about him are dramatized a bit, but I've watched a few, like that one, I think it was just called Walt. What's his name? Portrayed him. And it just showed how, and I know there's truth to it too, how he was an animator and he created characters and they would take the characters from him. So he was very much like, okay, about copyright, like this is my property. And that makes sense if you see what happened to him early in his life as an animator.
Right.
And then everything. So the fact that none of his family owns anything, I just feel like he's like rolling over in his grave about that. And probably among many other things that they're doing with Disney in general. But it's so sad because you don't see that kind of creativity at all anymore. He was definitely one of a kind, but now with, I don't know if it's technology getting bigger or what. With technology getting bigger, things should be getting better, not worse. And them moving from 2D animation over to the 3D stuff, I hate it. I mean, it's okay. I still enjoy some of them, like Coco. You guys know I like Coco. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's not that it looks bad, but when you can't compare like the Renaissance movies, even like Princess and the Frog, because that was the last 2D animation they did. It's just, you see that and that's Disney.
I feel like
they look like every other animation studio.
Thank you.
do. And I feel like traditional animation ages so much better. You can watch a movie like Snow White, which came out in the 30s, 1930s. We're pushing 100 years old on that movie at this point. And they cleaned that movie up and it looks fantastic today. It doesn't look super dated or anything really, Whereas CGI, like computer animated movies, they age worse. If you watch the original Toy Story, it's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying?
Tin Toy and stuff like that, the shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look
They don't
as
age
good.
as well, no.
And I feel like, we've seen this in cinema, for example, like live action cinema, where you'll get some creatives who will use the splendor of CGI to overcome maybe some story deficiencies, right? I feel like we're almost seeing that in animation where it's like, oh, let's really push the tech and really push the animation rendering quality, but it's not a substitute for great storytelling, which unfortunately I think might be happening a little bit in that case too. So it's really unfortunate how it's almost receding in a way, just in terms of the storytelling ability. Wish in November is pretty interesting because it kind of changes up that formula a little bit with the animation style, but nothing beats those great 2D sketches, and a pen and paper. It's just there's a magical quality there.
There's more soul when you have an artist putting pencil to paper, right? As opposed to like it's a mouse click. I think the end product ends up different. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Wish does. I'm not really sure yet on that one. I'm kind of iffy on it, to be honest. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like some of the stories are okay still. Like I said, Coco, I enjoyed it. I wasn't big on Frozen, but I understand why kids like that so much. But we grew up with the best, so it's really hard to say, that this was great when it was mediocre.
I'm convinced
animation, anyways.
I'm convinced Coco was the last great Pixar film that actually had that Pixar Midas touch, and it feels like after that it just started falling downhill.
Oh yeah, that movie destroyed me.
Me too. I'm like, if you didn't cry when you watched Coco, you're like, I don't know what's wrong with you. You need to figure something out. You're dead inside. Seriously though, that movie. Good, Nasmir. Your daughter's got good taste. Oh, she was living right over the new stuff. Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm saying, like, it's up to us to show the kids the good stuff.
Yes.
Like our nieces, our nephews, our kids, all that. Show them the old stuff. And
right. Well, and that's one of the silver linings a little bit with these live action remakes that are usually pretty bad, is that the remake sort of draws new attention to the original, right? So even with Little Mermaid and like these new live actions, it sort of draws more attention to like the original. And I think it put, more kids are checking out the original now because that's like kind of like in the media right now. Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid. So when they're on Disney Plus, let's check out the animated version, So that's a silver lining. I'm not a huge fan of those live action remakes. I mean, there's only like a couple that I liked, which was like Cinderella and like Jungle Book.
I think those two are the two that people all agree is very well done. And ABC Cinema, I did enjoy Soul. The animation, again, not the best, but even, Coco, I would have preferred that. But that's Pixar. Pixar always kind of differed a little bit from the regular Disney.
Like there have been good entries since Coco, like Luca, for example, right? Soul. I mean, they're up there, but I mean, Pixar was in a class of its own. So when you look at those, what is it, 20 films or something like that? Those first 20 films, I mean, they were revolutionary. They were phenomenal. Every single one was better than the previous. Maybe Good Dinosaur, you can leave that out, but almost all of them, really, really phenomenal. And people were so convinced that the secret to that success was CGI that you just had a purging of animators all over the industry, including within Disney. They really did try with Prince and the Frog, and that didn't turn out maybe as well as they had hoped.
I liked that movie though. I think it's underrated.
And a lot of people did, and that's why it's had a resurgence ever since then. But at the time, it just didn't move the needle, and it wasn't enough to save traditional hand-drawn animation. And a few years later, I believe in 2013, they purged their 2D animators out from the various Disney studios, and it was shocking, and it was so very sad because these executives were convinced, CGI, that's what's selling everything. It's not 2D, and it's like, no, the medium doesn't matter. It's the story.
Right. I think there's only one hand-drawn animator that's left at Disney, Eric Goldberg, and he does like some of the little shorts you see like on Disney Plus. Like if they need a new animation for like some special or whatever that's hand-drawn, they have like one, maybe two guys doing it now. It's pretty sad. It's all CGI.
Yeah, and as far as the live action, we touched on that for a second. I would say Cinderella, Jungle Book was great, which was such a disappointment. When I first found out that Jon Favreau was going to be doing Lion King, I was like, okay, if he makes it like the Jungle Book, because the Lion King is my favorite movie. Like, I'm never going to grow up. That's my favorite movie, the original Lion King. I love it. So when I found out about that, I was excited at first. And then the trailer started dropping, and I was like, no. They should have gotten, the only one they brought back was Mufasa. James Earl Jones for Mufasa. Like, why wouldn't you bring back the same people that did Timon and Pumbaa? I don't really care for Seth Rogen or what's his name, Billy. I forgot his name. Eichner, right? Is it Billy Eichner? I can't remember his last name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't really care for them that much. And I don't think they did a good job portraying Timon and Pumbaa, like how they are, their silliness. Like, and they also didn't have good chemistry like the originals did. And it was so disappointing for me. I watched it. I pushed through it just because I wanted to see, and not Billie Eilish, America's a singer.
Billie Eilish,
yes, she's the voice of Timon.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Their grand plan here is to go further with this, right? So Wicked, if you didn't like Lion King, the live action, well, OG's got a story to tell you right now.
Yeah, the head of Disney live action, right? I always forget this guy's name. It's Chris something. Yeah. But he actually, and this is from his mouth. This isn't like a rumor. This isn't like speculation. This is like from his mouth. He said he wants to turn the Lion King live action into a saga like Star Wars. And I was laughing on the phone with Dre about this. Like, what are you talking about? Like...
Nobody wants it. Literally nobody wants it.
Nobody wants that. And all these lines look the same. So like, what are you going to have? Like Mufasa's like cousin who's going to look the same as Mufasa? These movies, it's just so dumb. It's like the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And this literally came out of his mouth.
It was
wait, no, don't you know that to have a saga like that, it's I got the perfect title for it, because basically what you're doing is you're turning it into a animal soap opera, so it'd be These Are the Days of the Circle of Our Lives.
Yeah, exactly. And Americas, you're exactly right. I mean, did they not lose enough money? Look, if you're looking at it from just an executive standpoint, right? You're like, okay, in the last 20 years, what has been our most successful films? And it's like Lion King. It made over $2 billion at the box office. People want that. And it's, you go down that line of thinking rather than a creatively driven process. And that's kind of part of the reason why, Disney's missing a step right there. You have executive, some executive meddling right there. You have people vying for all these types of positions and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's just, this is why you're seeing the studios in this rut right now, because it's all under the veil of this transitionary time and all these people trying to vie for power and prestige, fame, all kinds of stuff. It's wild.
It's crazy.
No pun intended.
No,
Yeah,
no,
right?
Hokies, don't you put that evil on us.
Into the lion verse.
The Lion verse.
That's so good.
Exactly.
Sure. My thing with the biggest thing, besides the actors not being right for the roles, they should have, like I said, when it was Jon Favreau, I thought, okay, he's gonna put. You can't have. It's such a silly movie. Like, you can't have Timon and Pumbaa making fart jokes with a straight face. So
Right.
I thought they didn't go too heavy on it with Jungle Book, but they still gave some expression, because it's like, okay, animals don't talk like this in the real world, so you want it to seem real. Like, it's just not going to be real because you're basing it off of an animation for children. So when I thought Jon Favreau was going to do a good job, I thought he was going to have like the little bit of expressions, and I don't know if it was his idea or if somebody got to him and said, listen, we got to make it look more realistic, but that was terrible. Wrong decision. It could have fixed it if they would have just put a little expression in their faces.
And they had that out too, because like Jungle Book, for example, which is what's the inspiration for let's do live action Lion King. You had Mowgli there, so you had to have, I think, some kind of realism in order to have this live action character interact with these CG characters, right? Well, you didn't have that limitation with Lion King, so there's no reason why you couldn't imbue these characters with a little bit more.
And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No. So that's another thing with the live action. They're making a live action Bambi. What about Bambi is going to be live action? Because it's all going to be CGI. So I
Right.
understand calling even like Beauty and the Beast, because Belle was there, her dad. There was actually people there to call it live action. Cinderella, they did a fantastic job with the animals, because I love Gus and all the mice, but the way that they made it so she was just talking to them, but they weren't talking back. They were CGI, but it was still live action because it was mostly human, so that was actually live action. And like I said, same thing with Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, they had to make the beast CGI, but I think they did a pretty decent job with that. But obviously you can't. If Belle wasn't there, it would have been dumb to call it CGI. So that was the first thing when they talked about Bambi live action. I'm like,
It's not live action.
I'm not
But-
sure about that, but okay.
Well, maybe they're gonna call it live action because you're gonna have this guy in a red hat with an AR-15 take out Bambi's mom. Maybe
There you
that's
go.
maybe that's what the ultimate
Right.
We're
plan
gonna
is
get
right
his
there.
backstory. Like America's auditions for the role of the deer hunter.
That's too funny.
Oh man.
Part where Bambi's mom dies will not be CGI. Oh, do you know that for a fact, Gravy? You got the lowdown.
Got the scoop.
You got the
Right
scoop.
there.
Yeah, but oh no, okay. So we got the first question out. I'm like, wait, because we went off, which is okay. I love that. It's loose here, and this happens all the time when I have people on, but I love it. That's my favorite part of these shows, when you just go off on rants. It's fun. They probably will if they lose the copyright, like the Winnie the Pooh one. Oh my god.
Oh man.
I'm scared. Did they lose the rights to Steamboat Willie yet?
Not yet. That's not till 2028. But from what I'm hearing, Disney's actually like trademarking all the main features to get around the copyright issue, because I guess trademarks don't expire.
Well, that's smart, because they can't, like,
Yeah.
come on, it's Steamboat Willie. You can't. I don't need to see a Steamboat Willie horror movie, okay?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's an interesting idea. I always thought those laws should be adjusted for a contemporary time, right? Because back when they were instituted, you didn't have large corporations making use of these materials that they themselves would create for
Right.
years on end and live past their creators and so forth. So I always thought that should be adjusted for the modern time. If you have a corporation making use of an IP and product, right, or if they acquire the rights legally, they should be able to retain those rights for the length of the company, I would think. But what do I know? I'm not a lawyer.
Gravy. um. Oh, sorry. I wish I would have been to Epcot too, so that we could talk about all of them. But soon enough, I'll be there. So we'll have another conversation, and then I'll have been to Epcot. But so before I say mine, I know OG's got some burning questions for me now that I've finally been to a Disney park, because when I
Yes.
was on their channel, I'd only been to Universal, which I love Universal, but I couldn't compare parks yet because I hadn't been to one. But what is like your favorite part? It doesn't have to just be Disney. Out of all the theme parks you've been to, what would you guys say each is your favorite theme park? We'll start.
Go ahead, Vash.
We'll go in order. I feel like that's
favorite theme park? It has to be the original Disneyland. I mean, come on, this thing is just absolutely outrageous. And honestly, when you put it up against the world's theme parks, I mean, it's really high up there. A lot of almost everybody will include it in the top 5. Anybody who's smart will include it as number 1. But
I've
no,
never
I mean,
been there. I can't.
well, it's designed in 1955. It's only been added on to ever since it was first constructed, and it's grown out to be, I think, per park, I think it has the most attractions per park probably in existence right now. Not even just Disney parks, but just in general. And maybe you have a park somewhere else that has more attractions in it, but the quality of those attractions also counts. And I think Disneyland is chock full of just amazing, mind-blowing quality attractions. I mean, Indiana Jones Adventure, Rise of Resistance, and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is pretty cool, right? You had Splash Mountain, now you'll have Tiana's Bayou Adventure right there, Pirates of the Caribbean. And that's all in like the loop on that side. It's wild how yeah, I know. It's wild just how much is packed into that park. And what's really unique about it that really kind of stands up from the rest also is when you walk in that park, you kind of feel like you're walking in Walt's park. Walt is very much imbued into that place, and there's this innate charm to it, this characteristic that is intangible, but you can feel it. It's very, very strange. Yes, it doesn't have the biggest castle. Yes, it maybe is missing some major attractions from the other Disney parks that people might prefer for it to have. But I don't know. I mean, just bang for your buck. I don't think there's a better one park that you can visit than Disneyland.
Yeah, no, Disneyland is mine too. Like Disneyland, Dre is absolutely right. Like you walk in, it just hits different. It hits different. Like you can tell that is Walt's park. You can just feel it, Yeah. And like he said, there's the most attractions out of any Disney park. I mean, it's a packed park. Indiana Jones Adventure, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Runaway Railway. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And the cool thing too about it is how, because it was designed in the 50s, it's kind of different than a lot of the modern day Disney parks that have a lot of these really wide walkways, right? So Disneyland has a charm to it because we have these little back alley, little cobblestone paths, and it has that charm factor to it. It's an absolute gorgeous park. Pretty flawless, and I say pretty flawless because Tomorrowland, but everything else looks fantastic. Everything
Tomorrowland is huge at Disney World. I didn't even actually, or at Magic Kingdom, I didn't even really get to touch that as much as I would have liked to. I mean, Magic Kingdom is huge, so it's basically like you got the lightning lane. It's like, okay, run there. Like you're just running all over the place to try to make your the ride. So, but I did get the Pirate Pass. I don't know how the passes work over there. It's a Florida residence pass. I think that's the only one that only Florida residents can get it. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. So I will be going to the parks more often. Yeah, Epcot will be soon.
So the Florida Residence Pass is the Pixie Pass. So did you?
Is the Pirate one too? Because there's a Pixie
so the Pirate's one
Pirates.
step up from Pixie. Yeah.
So I was gonna get Pixie, but then I seen, not that I really want to go to a Disney park on the weekend, but when I have family and friends come into town, if they can only get weekends off and they want to go to the park, I'm like, fine, I'll upgrade it one more to the Pirate Pass.
Right.
I didn't want to get the big one because I'm like, I don't care about blackout dates. I don't want to step foot in a Disney park on a blackout date because it's already packed enough on slow days. So I was like, I'm good. No thanks. So I'll be going back. There's a lot more that I need to see at Magic Kingdom. For sure. I mean, it's a huge park. I got to do basically everything that I wanted to, though, and it was great. The only bad experience I had was my dinner.
Where did you eat?
And I ate at Tony's.
Oh,
and
no. Wicked.
Oh,
Wicked.
man.
Listen, I tried to get a reservation, and it was almost 2 weeks before I went at the Crystal Palace. You know,
Palace.
where the Winnie the Pooh characters come out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to get
Wicked, girl.
Listen, I don't think it wasn't good. I won't ever go back there again. But now I'll pay more. I didn't want to.
Oh.
Not that I was.
No.
I
See, now
should've-
from you saying that, the next time I am telling you right now, you are not going into another Walt Disney World park until you message me
Triggered.
first. You have to.
The Italian just came out. Listen,
Yes.
trust me, I was very upset because it looked good. I got a chicken parm. I'm like, that's safe. Chicken parm is one of my.
No, that's the
favorite things.
worst.
It was. My God, it was the thickest chicken parm I ever seen in my life. The sauce was very bland, and again, like I'm Italian, so I'm picky when it comes to Italian food, but usually chicken parm everywhere I've gone is never been that bad.
I'm
you're
gonna tell
Italian
you-
too?
Yeah, I'm Italian. Yeah.
Oh my, we got 3 Italians on the panel?
Yeah.
What's going on
Wow.
here?
I'm
I love
a mix.
Italian food.
Does that count? Yeah, listen, I tell people the same. It was I was sad.
If you
Yeah,
want,
yeah,
like the next time you go to Magic Kingdom, if you want to have like an experience, but also have good dining, good food, go to the Skipper Canteen.
Skipper Canteen. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
And
I said,
eventually.
now that I have the pass, I will be going
Yeah.
there more often. I want to go to Be Our Guest, but for my first time there, I was like, I'm not trying to spend $60 a dish, or I think it was something like that. I'm gonna go though because I love Beauty and the Beast. So I
I would suggest going, go for like the ambiance, like just to get that experience. The food at Be Our Guest is okay, I
The
guess.
food at Gaston's Tavern was not bad. The people were so nice. The gray
Yeah.
stuff, guys, it is delicious. That cupcake was so good. I got my. I think it's put away, so I'm not gonna be able to show you it. But I got the little mug that has LeFou and Gaston on it.
Oh,
Nice.
So I have here real quick while we're on the topic. I'll share with you guys. I'm gonna keep it muted though, because just pretend that When You Wish Upon a Star is playing. Okay? I don't want to get you guys know. I don't want to get a freaking claim.
Well,
But I did a reel. I really like Magic Kingdom. Here we go. You guys can see all my stuff. Like, and it was my phone has an eraser, guys. Okay. It was packed. I have the magic eraser thing on my camera. So I was like, yeah,
Nice.
those people see the background there. It was definitely pretty magical. I loved it. Besides the dinner, but the snacks were good. So I got stuck on the Little Mermaid ride, but it was okay. It was only for like 2 minutes. But yeah, I got to go on all the rides that I wanted, which was the Little Mermaid one, the Peter Pan one, Pirates of the Caribbean. What else was a big one that I wanted to go on? I didn't get to do the Haunted Mansion, but next time.
Mhm.
I can't believe that they don't have a Lion King ride.
Isn't that crazy?
At Animal
It's-
Kingdom.
No Lion King, no Beauty and the Beast, no Aladdin. It's like they completely just like shut it. Well, we have the magic carpets of Aladdin. God
Oh
forbid.
yeah, that I went on that, and the Dumbo one. Yeah, see that stuff was delicious. I couldn't even finish the cupcake though because it was so rich.
We have that here in California too, the gray stuff. It's so good.
It's
Yeah.
so good. And the fireworks show. oh
Happily
my
ever
God.
after. You can't go wrong.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was this during this. It was
Incredible.
actually playing the Pirates music. The dun, 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 dun. It was amazing. I loved it. All right, that's it.
Now, Wicked, you okay? So your first park was Universal, right? So then you went over to Disney, and from what I understand, like I think it was Hollywood Studios was your first one at Disney.
My first Disney one was Hollywood Studios. Yeah.
That's kind of perfect because that was kind of like the perfect bridge between Universal and Disney, right? Because Hollywood is kind of like a little bit on the Universal vibe, right? Like the Hollywood
It is.
backlot, and then
it's
you dipped
smaller too, which
into
is
them.
another reason why I chose it for my first one because you could get through the stuff faster. Like if I wanted to, I could have done Hollywood Studios and Epcot in the same day and got them done because they're both kind of smaller, you know. But I just did Hollywood Studios. But yeah, the vibe was pretty similar.
Wait.
to Universal.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
See, George, there's issues here.
What I do
Wait.
now.
So, okay. So that's right. You haven't been to Epcot. Okay.
No, not yet.
So when you go over to World Showcase, start over at the Mexican Pavilion, and then you're going to go all the way around over to Canada. And then I want you to come back on and say Epcot is small.
Okay, well, not that it's small. I just figured if I was going to do 2 parks at once, it definitely wasn't going to be Animal Kingdom. Definitely not Magic Kingdom in either of those.
Yeah.
Maybe Animal Kingdom, to be honest. Now that I've been to Animal Kingdom, I probably could have done Hollywood Studio on a slow day though, and definitely with Lightning Lane because Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
I would actually say if you were to, but I mean, Epcot and Hollywood Studios is a good combo because if you go through the International Gateway, if you start out at Epcot, exit the park, it'll take you to the beach club, the yacht club, and it's like
Airflow intensifies. Yeah.
that it'll take you to the beach club, the yacht club, and the boardwalk. And then that'll take you to, which by the way, if you haven't had the boardwalk pizza, very good.
I've been to the boardwalk. I had Italian food on the boardwalk once, and it was, I forget the name of the place. It was fantastic. It was so good.
You haven't lived till you had the boardwalk pizza. Just saying.
I haven't had the boardwalk pizza. It's on my list.
Yeah. And then, so there's a walking path that a lot of people don't know that you can walk to between Hollywood Studios and Epcot in between those resorts.
It's like pretty close to each other, so that's how you can hop from one part to the other.
Yeah.
Well, I will record a video just for George walking around Epcot. Like, okay, so that you know that it's small. But just I don't know if I could do the drinks around the world there. I might.
Oh no! See, if you do the drinks around the world, then you're probably going to have to be carried by the time you get to Canada.
Maybe I'd be like, should I just have a shot of each drink? But that still will probably do me in. But I'll do a couple. I'll definitely Mexico because I love margaritas, and they probably. I mean, I feel like Mojito's more Cuban, right? But I feel like every
the Mexican Pavilion has really good margaritas. Yeah.
Nice.
Work on that, Americas.
And I think George was joking about Epcot being small. You could literally fit both of our parks here in California inside Epcot. That's how massive this is.
It's huge. I mean, the moniker for Epcot is every person comes out tired. You know, that's what that's all about.
I forget his name. You guys have probably seen him. He does a lot of those funny where he pretends like he's Kristen Stewart in Twilight, and he imitates her. He's really funny. I forgot his name, but he did a video where he was like, drinks around the world. They said his name every time, and they start getting drunk. He's like, why am I saying my name every time? And like 4 times in, he's like, I'm here. And it was hilarious. I'm like, I could not do that.
I think I saw that guy actually. Like, and by the last one, he was so hammered.
Oh yeah, I would love to. That's the thing. Like, I have to go to Epcot real hungry because there's gonna be a lot that I want to eat. I'm gonna gain 5 pounds, but that's okay. That was my thing. That's why I find it funny that I haven't gone to Epcot yet, but soon, maybe sometime next month. I plan on going really soon.
If you go, I'm trying to remember the dates. If you go late July, early August, they should be starting up the Food and Wine Festival.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm gonna miss the Flower and Garden because it's the storms here have been crazy. It might be 5 minutes, but it gets kind of bad. Like my power went out at one point. It went right back on. Like I'm still getting used to Florida, but June, I didn't expect it to be this bad. But I know now. I know next year maybe go on vacation for most of June back to my hometown. New York State, 'cause it'll be nice and warm over there.
wait till August. You're going to actually be wishing for June.
It's going to be like 150 degrees here in August, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I might. Maybe I'll just plan my vacation away then to go see family because it'll only be a cool like 80, 90 degrees over in New York State. No problem.
Right.
There you go.
But so I'll say, I know OG wants to ask me about this, so I'm not going to say it. He wants to ask about which parks I like more now that I've been at Universal and the 3 Disney parks. So go ahead. What are your burning questions?
Okay. Yeah, that's actually one of my burning questions. So you started with Universal. Now you went to both of those parks, right? The studios and Islands of Adventure, and then you've done all the Disney ones except Epcot. What's your bias, or do you have a bias? Not
really. Okay, so I'll say for one, I love City Walk. And I've heard that City Walk, I've actually drunk 3PO told me this, that the City Walk in California is actually so much better than the one over here in Florida.
Wow.
I don't know. I think he said it was bigger and that it was just better. I still love City Walk, though. I really love going to City Walk. That's a great place to go, especially every time I have friends and family come in, we either go to City Walk or Disney Springs because it's free. we get dinner, but there's so much to walk around. Now, Disney Springs, I like Disney Springs more than City Walk. I don't know if you guys have been. George, I'm guessing has been, because I don't know if you guys have been, but Disney Springs it's magical there too. Like, and you get in there for free. But talking about we were talking about the clothes before we were talking about how Disney's just like not doing great in the clothes department. And it just really, it is. And I'll get stuff like they have this cute, here, let me get my jewelry off this and show you this. I got this like a couple months ago at Disney Springs. They had this adorable Jasmine collection. There was like plates and stuff. I just got this because I try not to buy a bunch of stuff, but I thought this was so cute.
Oh, that's cool.
It's cute. Cool. It is a little jewelry tray. Now my desk is a mess, but it's okay. I'll clean it up later. But they had a lot of cute little things there. And I'm like, I had to grab that. I try to grab one little thing every time I go. And I got to show you guys this. Hold on. I was going to save this for the stream. I got my popcorn buckets, my first popcorn buckets, and I love them so much. This is honestly, I'm not going to lie. This is basically the reason I ended up going to Animal Kingdom during this trip to Orlando, because I'm a few hours away from Orlando. So I plan it and like get a hotel and stuff because I don't want to drive back, especially after being at the park all day. So I planned on just going to Magic Kingdom. And then I'm like, I seen pictures of the popcorn bucket and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to Animal Kingdom the next day. They're so cute. Wait, hold on. I'm going to take my desk with me if I keep these on. Hold on.
Yeah, Disney does a great job with the popcorn buckets, though. Usually, they're usually pretty good.
The new Mr. Toad one, pretty good. Pretty
good.
I like that.
The popcorn buckets, though, I'm extremely sad that I love a Goofy movie. That's one of my favorite Disney movies. I love the Goofy movie. You guys over there have the Max and Goofy popcorn bucket, and we don't have it, and that's not fair. But anyways, I got the. I'm not gonna use these. I think my mom maybe asked, like, "Are you gonna use them?" I'm like, "No." Why'd you get them? Because it's so cute. I think it's so, and the fact that these are only $20 is kind of crazy to me. And if I want to bring this back with me to the park and not actually use it, I get popcorn for $2, I think. Pumbaa is so cute.
Oh my gosh! And the thing I love about those, the sculpt is like perfect. Like that's so on model for Pumbaa. Like it's flawless.
But I'm not gonna put popcorn in it. And I tried to get in Timon without a drink. Like, you need to get a drink. I'm like, well, okay, I guess. So I'll spend $5 on a drink. But I think with this too, you also get, I'm not sure if you get money off for the drinks, but I'm not going to, I'll spend, $4 if I want popcorn. I'm not going to lug Pumbaa every time I go just to get $3 popcorn because I don't even really eat it. There's so much better snacks. Mark of Reality just became a member. Thank you. Hold on. This is what I got to do when we get a new member. You're going to get, what are you going to get? You're going to get this.
Nice.
Thank you, Mark of Reality. It actually showed up. So you guys know on StreamYards, well, no, subs show up. It's gifted subs that don't show up. And then one of my mods have to tell me in the chat, like, so-and-so gifted subs. StreamYards, fix that. Thank you.
Wicked, if you want the Goofy and Max, just let me know because I'm there. Like, I go like once a month, so I can always ship it to you.
Please, I'll PayPal you the money, please.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
I want it so bad. I love that movie. Roto Kamish sent it to me, which you guys probably know him because he's a big fan of theme parks. You've probably seen him in your chats. He was heartbroken because he's actually in LA right now. Going to Disneyland and all that. Like, he's going to start doing, he made a channel and he's going to start doing all the theme park stuff. I think you guys and then Jay at Park Hopper kind of influenced that on him because he's got all the knowledge, man. Like, if you guys had a conversation with him, you guys would go for a very long time. Like, he is deep into the Walt history and everything. He's a great guy, but he sent me it and I'm like, oh, a new popcorn bucket. He's like, oh, it's only available in LA. And I was like, thanks. And now I'm just gonna go cry in a corner. But
I think
I'll PayPal you the money. I would love that. Thank
but
you.
I think it's funny that you bring up a Goofy movie because that, to me, I feel is a complete underrated Disney film because,
it is.
Again, it's so 90s, but yet it's not where it dates itself, where you can watch it and you can get that 90s vibe. But I mean, newer generation could still fall in love with it all over again. And I was actually at Disney Hollywood Studios a couple weeks ago, and I saw that there was a line forming, and I knew it was a character meet and greet. And normally, you know, when I'm doing my solo trips, it's like, okay, you know, it's a character, you know, but it was actually Max dressed as Powerline. And I thought I had to get in line, and I ended up getting a picture with him because it's Max dressed as Powerline.
I'm still waiting for the Powerline album to drop. Like, come on, when are we gonna get that? Like that, it was. There's this funny like shorts and I guess TikToks that you see of people. Like, there's this one girl where she's like, when 10-year-old me hearing this song for the first time, and like she has wind blowing, and it's like dun, 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 and crying. Like that's it was so good, man. I miss old Disney. We were spoiled. We were absolutely spoiled. 90s was peak. I feel like 90s was peak animation for a lot of things too. Like I recently, about maybe 2 months ago now, finished Cowboy Bebop. I don't know if you guys are into anime, but I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're not, you know what Cowboy Bebop is. That was a beautiful story. Oh my gosh, I took so long to watch it, way too long to watch it, but I'm glad I did. At the same time, when I don't watch some of these older things, like as growing up, watching them now, it's like good. I got some good stuff to watch still. So it was a nice treat. And that was just like Batman the Animated Series, that animation in the 90s that, you know, this came from the 90s, but it was just so beautifully drawn.
I feel like Asia in general is kicking butt with the entertainment compared to I mean, like anime and music, everything is just so much better out there right now. Theme parks, especially like Tokyo, the Disney parks over there are like insane, absolutely insane.
Their
I gotta watch
fantasy
the
section.
movie. See what?
Cowboy Bebop was great. Yeah, I actually recently finished that myself, actually. So we're kind of in the same boat there, Wicked. And it was phenomenal. It was great.
There's a movie. Did you know that? There's a movie.
There is a movie.
I watched it. Yeah.
There is a movie.
Hold on a second. Lulu gifted 10 subs. Lulu, she just came in here, didn't say hi or nothing. It just gifted 10 subs. Lulu, thank you. Okay, hold on. What's Lulu gonna get? She's gonna get some ass.
Groovy.
Thank you,
Nice.
Lulu. I appreciate you. Say hi next time. Where is she at? She didn't even say hi. She just was like, you know what? Boop. I'm out.
Just dropped it.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to make sure
No, you're good. You know, we didn't get what George's favorite park was, and I'm actually very curious because he kind of grew up as a Walt Disney Worlder.
Yeah, we didn't. You guys got to yell at me when I do that. Like I said, we went off. George, your favorite, because he started talking, but I don't think you're right. He didn't actually say what his favorite park.
Well, I was going to, but I already gave you the lecture off of Tony, so I thought that was enough for the night. So mine actually is. And even though it doesn't have a whole lot of attractions, I am basing this off the ambiance and the aesthetics of the park itself, because this is truly not a typical Disney theme park that you can get anywhere. And actually mine is Animal Kingdom. I just love of how you walk into the park and you are transported into this kind of oasis, so to speak, where it's like you're in a theme park, but yet you don't feel like you're in a theme park. And then you can go to Africa, you could go to Asia, and it's so the realism of that park is just so phenomenal. And that's where I kind of worry where moving forward, where they just keep on throwing in IP, which the IP is great, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, you're going to throw in Moana, you're going to throw in Zootopia, which obviously would probably take the place of Dino Land, but I mean, I fear that
Dino Land. I actually spent a nice chunk of my time over there.
Yeah,
Dino
and
Land.
it's
It was fun.
and I just fear that in time, and I actually had this conversation with Dre on the phone many times, is that, you know, with the lands of Africa and Asia and like those real rich realism sections of the park, that, you know, eventually they're going to get kind of lost in translation as things just keep on pile driving into just everything IP.
Yeah, you're right. I would have to agree with you. I enjoyed Animal Kingdom so much. I thought there'd be more animals at Animal Kingdom, but honestly, I could have missed a chunk of it. It was just one of those where I was going.
Now I have to ask you, did you go on Kilimanjaro safaris?
No, I have to do that. I will.
Girl,
I will.
come on. You're killing me here.
Well, to be fair, I had a little one with me, so it was hard. I was pushing a stroller too, and it was just me, so it made it a bit more difficult. But I enjoyed what I did do while I was there. And again, I got my pass. Don't worry,
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be back. But it's hard for me to now that like.
Now, if you do have a little one, actually, if you do want to see some animals, they have a lot of exploration trails, like the Maharaja Jungle Trek and the Pangani Forest Trail, and then you could even take the Wildlife Express train over to Rafiki's Planet Watch, where they have like a lot of indoor sites where you could actually watch them, like the veterinarian care for the animals. And they kind of do it like a lot. Then they also have like a animation session where they teach you to draw a specific Disney animal character. Like sometimes you can get Simba, or you can get one of the mice from the Rescuers. Like they'll randomly pick a, which I have seen them do. They actually did do Bianca from the Rescuers, which I thought was kind of interesting because, you know, in today's time era, people don't even know who they are. So it's like, unfortunately, but.
Yeah. I also got speaking of Animal Kingdom, I don't have it here. I wish I would have put it here, but I got the cute little baby Simba, that like the stork thing. Oh man, it was cute. And another thing, during June, I don't know if they had this in at Disneyland as well, but it was pass holders got 30% off instead of 20% off. So I was like, oh man. So I can get like 3 extra things and spend the same amount that I was going to spend. And I did. I didn't go too crazy with it. But I obviously got a few things. So I didn't answer. I feel like I didn't answer OG's question about the parks. Like, cause I started talking about Disney Springs and City Walk. So I really loved Universal. I have to go back because I only went one. Well, I went for 2 days, but I'm going to be going back to Universal soon as well. I really loved Magic Kingdom. So between Disney parks, it's between Animal Kingdom and Disney Kingdom and Magic Kingdom right now, because it's my first time going, even as, you know, I didn't go as a kid. So there's still so much more that I want to experience.
Yeah.
I will say there was so much that I really loved about Magic Kingdom, as far as, you know, places, more bathrooms and stuff, and just, you know, little things like that. But Animal Kingdom, I agree with George. When I walked in and you see the Tree of Life, I was like, oh my God, that is beautiful. And they have like the parrots, the real parrots flying around and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. It was an experience that I, you know, say, like I told you guys, when I went to Universal, and like as soon as I got past like you seen the entrance, I was like, oh my God, because that was my first theme park ever. So what's up, Sonia?
You know, Islands of Adventure, I haven't been yet, but like from what I've seen, I haven't been. I've never been to Florida. That's gonna change though, right, fellas?
Yeah, yep. This
let me know when you guys come.
Ready.
Let me know when you guys come.
Oh yes, absolutely, definitely.
And I got passes out. I gotta get a pass. I'm gonna do the Florida resident thing for Universal though, because I just don't have that money to drop on a pass. I'm gonna do the monthly payments. Whatever, but I'm gonna get the pass soon for Universal as well. I'm glad they have that option. I think it's only Florida residents, but I'm like, I seen that and I was like, okay, I can do this. I can pay monthly for this, and I'm gonna come all the time, so it'll be worth it.
Yeah, that Island Adventure, that entrance looks gorgeous. That like kind of exotic.
Oh, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. You can sit around it at City Walk too. Every time I go to City Walk, I go sit there. It's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They do. You guys get that? You probably do. Everyone does. Ask Jay which restaurant. I mean, the one. I didn't mind the one at Gaston's Tavern over here. It was actually pretty. It wasn't like a crazy line. At Animal Kingdom, that's why I said it's so weird. At Animal Kingdom, a couple of the bathrooms, the line was just crazy, and I was like, I'm gonna hold it. Like I am not. Like it was out the door, and I'm like, nope. Gotta go to another. I'm gonna go to Africa and try to find a bathroom or something. Like I can't wait for this.
The one that I use at Magic Kingdom is the one that's like sits right adjacent in between Adventureland and Frontierland. It's like that little. It's like a little tunnel, so to speak, where it's like right.
Plaza, almost.
Yeah. It's like right off of where Country Bear Jamboree is, and then that's where you enter into where. Adventureland ends up in on the other side. So that's always the one that I use.
As a guy, like I'm not super picky about which restroom. If it's like
Well, that's just the thing.
Well,
Yes.
number one, if it's number one, I can go anywhere, right? If it's number two, I'm going to Grand Cali. Like that's
Didn't I tell you that, George? Well, we were going there,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
When we were walking through it, I said, best rooms on property right there, George. Just so
Boom.
you know, best ones on property.
yeah. But if I was a female, yeah, I would be extremely picky up to where
Yeah.
it's a different situation.
I don't know what it is with me. Like, I always just go into the one in between Eventually and a Frontierland because it just so happens every time I'm in that area, that's when I have to pee. It's like,
So, eating wise, sorry, we were talking about eating before. I don't want to forget this. My brain's gonna forget. We were talking about food, and I don't know if George is gonna get mad at me for this one, but I enjoyed
Oh.
it. When I went to the Hollywood Studios, I went to Minnie's Diner, and it was wonderful. The food was really good, and the characters were
at
Hollywood
Hollywood
yeah,
and Vine.
Hollywood. Yeah,
Hollywood and Vine.
the Minnie Mouse Diner. It was a buffet,
Yes.
and it was really good, and it was late too, which I feel. Another reason why Tony's wasn't as good. If for some reason I ever go with someone that wants to go back there, I'll probably just get like spaghetti and meatballs. I don't know, but I don't really plan on going
Tony's
back.
is never, no matter what you get on the menu, Tony's is never good. No matter what you get.
Tony's is
But I will
like
say
the
I
worst.
tried going to Crystal Palace. That's where I wanted to go first because I wanted to go to a character place. But they were full. It was like 2 weeks before too, and I was like, darn it. Same thing with at Disney Springs. I have been trying to go to the T-Rex Cafe. That thing is just
Okay.
never
Okay.
available.
See. Now look. Now Wicked. Now here we go again. See.
Is it
now,
not
you have
good?
no. See, now you have an opportunity. See, because I'm a Landry's member, so we don't need a reservation for T-Rex.
Wait, you don't need a reservation when you have
Not for
pets?
T-Rex. Not for T-Rex. Not for Rainforest Cafe. Not for Yak and Yetis at Animal Kingdom.
So it's over here too, because the T-Rex is at Disney Springs. I don't think they have
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What the heck? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So when see, I'll take you when I'm down there. I'll take you.
Oh, yeah. I tried because I had friends down too, and they were like, they seen the big T-Rex. They're like, let's try to go in there. And I'm like, okay. I pull out the app, and I was like, we could eat at 11 p.m.
So wait,
like,
so-
no, I'm hungry now.
So can I ask you? So it seems like you've been having issues with trying to get dining reservations. Are you attempting to do this like same day or several
No,
days out?
So for the Magic Kingdom, it was about 2 weeks before that I knew I was going. I made the plan and I tried to get into Crystal
Okay.
Palace and they were filled. I probably should have kept trying because sometimes people cancel reservations, but I was like, you know what? I love Italian food. I'm like, let me try. I'm gonna give Tony's a try. And unfortunately, I usually always ask Drunk 3PO, but he had never been to Tony's. Now he's been to Tony's, but at that point he hadn't. I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell you how it is. And I was like, it's garbage. Don't go
It
there.
is. It is.
So he went, but their food was probably better. They didn't get. I was like, just don't get the chicken. I swear, I don't think they cooked it all the way. And I'm weird. Like most people, be like, we'll send it back. I don't send food back because
do
I'm
you
afraid of what
like-
they might do to it in the kitchen.
do
You
you-
never know.
Do you like
never
know.
do you like wedding soup?
Yeah, the Italian wedding soup.
Italian wedding soup.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, yeah, it's good anywhere else. See, if you get the wedding soup at Tony's, you can compare it to a day-old bowl of dishwater.
Oh, well, I never would get soup when I'm out. I like to get, but I don't think I'm gonna give Tony's another chance because they also broke my heart. What was it called? The Italian, something Italian, and it was a cherry drink, an alcoholic beverage, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I got it. I took a sip, and I felt like I was drinking just like straight vodka, cheap vodka. It did not taste nothing cherry about it. I was like, come on, this is like
Which is
$15.
it's a shame because Tony's is such an iconic restaurant
It's
as
beautiful
part of Lady and the Tramp, and you would kind of
Right.
expect to have that little Italian bistro type of feel, which it is very pretty inside, but I mean like the food quality, it's just like, come on, I'm an Italiano, come on, forget about it.
Yeah. No, it's sad because you're right. You're right, George. It's like Lady and the Tramp, beautiful movie. Love that movie. And to have a restaurant that's themed to that and to like not deliver is upsetting.
It's at the front of the park too. You'd think.
Listen, I
you're-
couldn't find it because I passed it. I'm walking around. I'm like, okay, I have my reservation. And I was so upset because I didn't get to see a parade at Magic Kingdom. It was perfect timing, right? I asked the guy, I'm like, where's Tony's? I'm on Main Street. I'm like, where's Tony's? Because I'm using my app and I don't see it. And he's like, it's right at the end there. And I'm like, okay, a parade's about to start. When's the parade going to start? And this was about 45 minutes before my reservation. And he's like, it's going to start in a few minutes. I'm like, so I have enough time to watch the parade and then go to my reservation? He's like, yes, you do. And then they canceled the parade because it was going to rain. And then the parade was going on while I'm in Tony's. And I'm looking out the window like, I wanted to see the parade so bad. I haven't seen a Disney parade yet.
Now
so
that
next
is
time.
now that is the one plus side about Tony's, that if it is a nice day out and you're able to get that outdoor seating,
I wish I would have.
that's the only thing that I could actually give positive notes on Tony's, is they have a great parade view if you're sitting while you're eating. But as far as like, I mean, you go out on a date, it's supposed to be a bella notte, but I mean, like,
It's
you
not.
walk out of there and it makes you want to join the celibacy club. It's like not romantic at all.
No, it's not. No, I mean the atmosphere, yeah, it's beautiful. Oh no, we lost OG.
We did. I think he just dipped out just for a second. He might come back in, so keep the.
Well, yeah, he's got the link. And at Animal Kingdom, after the heartbreak from Tony's, I decided not to make a reservation at Animal Kingdom. There also wasn't like a place that really stuck out to me that I really wanted to go to. So I'm like, I'll do a quick service. I did the Pizza Fari, which was all right.
Okay.
I'm kind of picky with it. Wasn't terrible. I got the pizza, and it was all right for theme park pizza.
I will say, if you get the opportunity to dine again at Animal Kingdom, which I'm for sure you will, I definitely recommend Yak and Yetis. You may think it's Yak and Yetis. You may think it's not a fine choice, but I tell you what, the food, there's not one thing on that menu that I have negative notes about.
And that menu is
huge,
massive.
It's huge.
You will find something that you'll like, and I agree with you, George. The videos that I was looking at, I mean, every single thing looked tasty. Just got a text back from OG saying that his power went off and then went back on. So his computer rebooted. He's coming back on.
Okay, all right, yeah, he caught the Florida. That happened to me the other day. I wasn't streaming though. There was a storm right before the stream, and I was like, oh gosh, I hope I'm gonna be able to stream. I hope I don't gotta cancel. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna try a couple different places. I have the time now that I have the pass.
But as I said, we're gonna be down there. If you want to meet up with us, we'll let you know. And as I said, I'm a Landry's member, so Yak and Yetis, T-Rex, and Rainforest Cafe are part of that list that you do not need a reservation.
That's not the same as having the annual pass, is it? Or it is?
No, that's separate.
Okay, so then you got to get us in the T-Rex Cafe. You got to get us in, because it's not that they're fully booked. It said it's always super late.
It's popular.
Eat at 10 p.m. and the food looks decent too, and not too expensive. Rainforest Cafe, I got into there when I had friends down. We're like, okay, where do we want to go? We're walking around Disney Springs. We're starving. I'm like, okay, well, we can get into. It took only like a half hour. I went up to the Rainforest Cafe and was like, how long? And it was only a half hour. So it's a cute experience. Rainforest Cafe isn't anything like to, rave about.
Well,
I get like a burger or something. It's fine.
Yeah. And I was talking to Dre on the phone because we were discussing like our dining reservations, and I wasn't aware that, he has been to a Rainforest Cafe, and it's like, well, the second time around, I was like, do you want to do the Rainforest Cafe? He's like, it's okay. But he's like, I wouldn't mind a second round at Yak and Yetis.
Welcome back.
Yeah. My everything went out for like a second and then went back on. So.
Oh, geez. Yeah. It happens. Has anyone tried? Tina wants to know. Has anyone tried the restaurant in Disneyland's Pirate of the Caribbean?
The Blue Bayou. I'm assuming that's what she's. Yes. Yeah.
So good. So good. The ambiance there is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Food isn't too bad either. It's just a little pricey, but it's good.
There's quite a few places that I want to try the next time I go to even Magic Kingdom. But I know I'm gonna find a good place at Epcot. And I'm probably going to try a couple different places. Now, I want to go during a festival because I love, like, they do that at SeaWorld. There seems to always be some kind of food festival going on at SeaWorld, which it's iffy. When I went one time, the food wasn't the greatest. The one thing about SeaWorld, I don't know if it's like this for you guys over in San Diego. Maybe it's just SeaWorld as a whole. When they're on, it is perfect. Like, when it's a good day there, it's great. But when it's an off day or a bad day, it's like, It kind of sucks. Like, my mom came down, we went there. It was around Mardi Gras. No, not Mardi Gras. Was it Mardi Gras? No, it was around Cinco de Mayo. And we went the day before they had all the booths set up for Cinco de Mayo. And I was like, seriously? Like, you have it going all month, but on the 4th, You don't have it going on? Come on. Or no, the third. I think it was the third. I don't remember, but I was just like, come on. So I didn't get to try any of the stuff, but I've gone there for Christmas. Their Christmas is real cute. They have the Rudolph characters and everything. I love that.
That's cool.
SeaWorld is a great little park. I haven't been though for a really, really long time. It's been like over a decade, and we actually brought our little Shih Tzu. We put her in a stroller, and we took her through the whole park, and she had fun, except the Shamu part like freaked her out. She was like shaking, you know.
You know what freaked out? Cause I had no idea that the little Bugs Life show was going to be like that. I had to leave. There was crying involved, and I was like, "Oh, just great job on my part there." I didn't think that there was going to be them dangling and
right, the Black Widow spiders and the whole. It's pretty intense.
Yeah,
it is. I was like, and I'm like, "Oh, great! I messed up. Time to leave." I had no idea. I was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to cool off in some air conditioning right now. Take a beat," but nope.
That one can throw you off guard a little bit. You don't expect that. You go in there, it's got the cute little queue area, the little buzzing bees with the singing and all that. You get in there.
No, that show is dark.
Oh man, it's
so
crazy.
For anyone in the chat, don't take I would say don't take any kid under like 6 to the Bugs Life.
Yeah,
probably.
It's not what you think it is.
No,
I was surprised.
No. It's like a cute little show, and then it gets taken over by Hopper, and then the Black Widows and the bees come, and it's really bad, and it's like, oh my god, what did I get myself into?
And then that giant fog machine, and just
the fog machine.
Well, and it's the closer you sit to the screen, the more fog and wind, like it gasps you. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't even fully answer. So it's hard for me to choose between Universal and we'll say Magic Kingdom. I love Animal Kingdom. Like that's top for me. But since I'm so new to this, I have to go to the parks a few more times to really pick when it comes to Disney. But Universal is, especially because it was the first big park I ever went to, is always going to hold a special place for me. It was great. And it's got the Spider-Man ride that was amazing. That's my favorite ride at Universal. Yes. And my favorite, and I'm not a big, a big Avatar fan. I seen the first movie. I haven't seen the second one yet. I will. I think that they're beautiful movies. I'm not like a huge super fan though, but Pandora at Animal Kingdom, wow. I was like people that love this movie must just absolutely die when they come to this world. I went on Navi's River ride. That was it was beautiful.
Did you do Flight of Passage?
No, but next time I will.
Cool.
Okay. I was being careful. I tried to do any ride that didn't have height requirements. That was
George is
with that,
dying on the inside.
Yes.
I will. I'll do Flight of Passage next time when I'm able to. But oh god, it was just so beautiful. I'm like, wow.
That's amazing. Well, and actually, it's funny that you mentioned Amanda, because like the first movie, I was kind of iffy on it too. I was like, I don't really care about this franchise.
It was beautiful, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the effects and everything. But yeah,
it was cool. But then I saw Way of Water, and I'm like all in now. Like that's a really good movie. Yeah, definitely check it out when you can. I was really impressed by that.
I think it's on HBO, so I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure it is.
Check it out.
So my thing was I don't have as much time to go to the movies as I'd like. So with long movies like that, it didn't happen, but I did get to see, what's the last one I went to see? Mario. And that was a cute movie. I loved the Mario movie. That was super cute. And I wanted to go see the Spider-Verse movie, but I'm going to probably just wait for that to go on streaming.
Yeah.
There's mixed reviews on that. People so far have told me that it's worth going to see, but it's not as good as the first one. And the first one was really well done, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually, Sonia mentioned, I was going to mention it. Way of Water is also now available on Disney Plus.
Okay, I don't have Disney Plus, but I do have a login that I can use. I have HBO though, whatever it's called now. They changed it. I had to download a whole different app too.
Max.
I'm like, why didn't they just update the app? I had to download. I'm like, where's my? I'm laying in bed, like, all right, let's put on HBO, and I'm like.
Max.
Oh, gee, that's another question we have to have for the lady we're going to speak to on Monday about that, because, Warner Brothers is going through some interesting times.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting times.
It's wild. Now,
have you guys seen the Flash movie?
I did.
OG did.
I saw it. Oh.
Not yet. I'm going to, listen, Ezra is a nut job. I don't... but
yep,
they baited me in with Keaton. That's my favorite Batman. And I was like, You bastards.
Yeah.
Why'd you
Well,
But
I
yeah.
think if you're going in for Keaton, I think you'll be pretty happy because he is definitely the best part of the entire movie.
I mean, he's in more than 5 minutes. You know how they do that sometimes where they like, oh, look at this all over the trailers and then 5 minutes and that's it.
Oh, he's in a lot. Yeah, no, he's in a lot of the movie. So yeah, he was definitely the best part. Ezra Miller is, oh man.
And you don't just get one Ezra. You get two Ezras,
Ugh.
which compounds the problem for sure. But if you can get past that first half, from what I understand, OG, you really liked your time.
Yeah, once I got to Michael Keaton, I was good. It was just the Ezra stuff is what.
It's like, can I do this for 2 hours? I don't know if I can.
Well, that's the thing. I was in the theater like first like 25, 30 minutes. I was really thinking that. I was like, I don't know if I can hang. Like, I don't.
I'm about to take a nap real quick.
Yeah, like I was going to the bathroom. I went like twice. I'm like, gosh, man.
Damn.
And then Michael Keaton caught on. I was like, okay, this is getting pretty good. This is okay, right? I can do this. So yeah. And Trey is absolutely right. Worse CGI. Oh,
He did a video. So Trey has a funny channel over there where he doesn't care about getting monetized. He just says his thoughts about what he thinks about movies and everything. And his thumbnail was the Supergirl scene. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I was just like, whoa. It's pretty bad.
it's pretty. Yeah.
Honestly, I think a lot of films nowadays with the CGI are just, I don't know what they're using. They're like using like 90s Microsoft discs that they just plug in with the AOL dial up. And it's like, oh my God. It's like,
I think a lot of the issue is that we're seeing a lot of pandemic era stuff getting released right now. So a lot of the stuff was kind of in a weird situation during the pandy.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of what we're seeing, with that. But
It has been getting more intense with the bidding as well for these CGI shots, right? So it's like, who will do it for the cheapest price because they're trying to keep those costs down. And like you said, they had to overcome some of those pandemic era, issues, right? Maybe CG off masks or comp two people together in kind of a CG set or something like that. And you mix all those things and combine them, and you get some really
it's like
shoddy work.
It's like you go back to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I mean, you look at Davy Jones, and the
beautiful.
CGI for that is insane, and that was like 15 years ago. And then you go into the theater and watch the live action Little Mermaid, and it's like we're going backwards.
Or even Multiverse of Madness, which I was really looking forward to because I'm like a Wanda stan. I love that character, and then I was really disappointed in that movie because the CGI was terrible in that. It was terrible.
It was rough. Oh man.
Yeah, it was rough. It was really, really rough. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on the Flash, Amanda, because
When I see it, I will eventually. Like I said, I probably will end up Jack Sparrowing it because I just really don't like Ezra Miller.
Well, as I said,
I understand people going to see it though. I thought about going to see it just to do a review, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait.
Well,
It's
the
hard
guys
to
already
go to
the guys
movies,
already
so-
know my opinion on the Flash, Wicked. So I'll just, for time's sake, I'll just give my opinion on the Flash on here.
Go ahead. Oh, there. I thought it was gonna be some super Italian thing.
there you go.
That's what I think.
Yeah, you gotta use your hands, George.
You gotta use your hands.
I use my hand to hold the can.
Hands were used, okay?
That's true.
I mean, to be honest, the way even decent movies that DC pushes out, they end up on HBO pretty fast. So it's probably going to be on HBO quick because I was reading an article and the Flash, it did really bad for an opening week. Like it made only like 50 million or something like that. Well, the Spider-Verse made like 150 million opening week. The numbers are a little messed up, but it was something drastic like that. But yeah, speaking of like old CGI, you think of like we grew up with great stuff like Jurassic Park. That was way ahead of its time. And then now look what we get like the Little Mermaid. Like they couldn't just put her. There's cosplayers, girls that get paid to go to birthday parties for kids dressed in mermaid tails. They couldn't do that.
It's crazy. I mean, Halle Bailey.
Shell bra either. Like, come on.
It literally looked like cut and paste. It was literally like using iMovie.
It's a shame too because Halle Bailey is a really talented young woman, and
she's a great singer.
She's a great singer, and I feel like she's totally wasted in that. You know.
So Zendaya came out. I wish I had to find it. I seen it on like a short. Actually, when I was in my hotel, like getting ready to do Disney, and I wish I would have liked it or saved it. But she came out and she pretty much came at Disney, and I was like, good for her. She came at Disney in a sense of like what they're doing with the race swapping that they're just using. And she's friends with Halle Bailey, and she's like, I'm like, they're just using my friend basically, is what she said, and how they don't really actually care about the diversity. And how when she was on the show there, it was like, oh, because I'm a lighter skin, so I'm treated better. And she just kind of went in on that, and I just thought that it was interesting to see her take them on when she kind of still works for them because she's Mary Jane. But if there's a contract involved, they can't really do anything about it.
Wow.
But I liked that she actually spoke on it, saying like, if she basically said if they cared about diversity, they would make new characters. And I'm like, wow, it's seeing somebody that actually works for them saying that. It's like people have been screaming that all over the internet, and they get marked as bad people. But then she says it, and everyone's going to people probably listen. But it's true. I agree with that. Like, I really wish they would have. Like, did you guys see this was during the pandemic? I watched this. I thought it was adorable. They did the Disney sing along, and they had Halle Bailey with I never pronounce her name right, but the lady who voices Tiana.
Anika Noni Rose.
Thank you. Yeah, I never pronounce it right. Her and then her sister too, Haley's sister. They did Almost There, and they sang it together, and it was beautiful. So
they did.
People were
I actually just watched that last night. Believe it or not, it was on the little snippet was on YouTube.
Yeah, it was so good, and people were saying like, why aren't they bringing Tiana to live action? And that would make sense because they could also add, because they changed things in live action, and I know people were upset that there wasn't much screen time of actual Tiana, and I get that, but it was Princess and the Frog. It was supposed to be them as frogs, but I get people's grief. They could change that and do a bit more backstory, like on her father or something on the live action, and they could shorten the frog time a little bit. I think they could really do something, actual live action, more so with the characters for Princess and the Frog. Like, I know the frogs will be CGI, yeah, but if they extend the human parts, it would... I think they could do something with that. And New Orleans, it's so like they could make it just look so good. Yeah.
So good. And in terms of Zendaya's comments, she's absolutely right. And actually, Eric July has done a lot of content on that very topic, where it's like the race swapping is kind of insulting. It's like it's much better to come up with new original characters. Like Black Panther was a great way to approach it, and he's done a lot of great stuff on that topic. But yeah, I agree. Like especially Halle Bailey, she's so good, and you waste her in that movie. It's just.
Do you guys watch Aba and Preach? You ever watch them? I don't know, not everyone likes them, but like they're actually I think a lot of people like them because they're pretty in the middle. They're not like, they don't really take sides. They're pretty grounded, but they're two, they're two Black men, and they had a talk about this where they were like, when you take historically white characters and make them Black, he's like, it's like you're giving us crumbs and we want a full meal. Like he said that. I always talk about that because I'm like, that line just stuck with me. Like that was a very good way to put it, and that's how a lot of them feel. And that's, I agree with that. Make new, interesting characters. That's how I feel. Like, well, it's not that hard, but they're lazy. That's what it is. They're just lazy. We're hardly getting any new animation. Disney is an animation studio. And we're not really getting good animation. What was the last one that came out? Like the Elemental, was that any good? I don't think I didn't even see that one. I don't know if it's out yet. Was that Disney or was that DreamWorks? Because I don't know the difference anymore when I see trailers.
Yeah, it was Pixar. I got to see it in theaters. It was decent, I will say.
Was it?
By some of the other Pixar films that was released just recently, like Lightyear, Turning Red, or even Disney's animated studios, Strange World. I'd say Elemental was definitely better. They still need some fine tuning, but it was decent. It was okay.
Nice.
I'll check it out. I'm just like, I'm behind on stuff. And like I said, I usually watch things on streaming if, unless it's something I really want to go see. Like I knew I was going to enjoy the Super Mario movie, and I did. I was right. It was a cute little movie.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
I think that's
I didn't get the popcorn bucket though.
And I think that's what happened with Elemental is I think it's a movie where it just is not sparking interest to have people actually physically go buy tickets and sit in the theater to watch. I think that's the film's downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Now Amanda, you have Max. I have to ask you, have you seen Succession?
No. I haven't.
Oh,
I have
that
it on
is
my
so,
list. Are you gonna
Yeah.
George yell at me?
George. Do you watch Succession, George?
Yes, I do. I'm my toes are curling right now.
Fantastic show. You will absolutely love it. It's crazy. I'm almost done with the last season, but you'll love that. Top tier television.
Oh, I've actually heard about that. I gotta add that to my list. Max isn't loading, so I'll remember to do that later. It's not Luigi's head. It was the question mark break.
Oh, the little.
Americus.
Mhm.
I tried to get. I was like, "Do you guys have it?" I went like a week later, and I was like, "They're not gonna have it," but I thought I'd try anyways. I mean, it's not as good as these. Like, I'm not gonna start being crazy. It's only gonna be the ones I really like this and then that Goofy movie one because I love. Oh, I wore that movie out. I remember having that on VHS. I just played it constantly. I love the It's so cute. I love Goofy.
Well, and the music.
And
Is
this,
so
I was just going to
good.
say the soundtrack. The soundtrack is.
I'm
So
saying I'm waiting
good.
for Powerline to drop his album. Like, come on.
Yeah, well, the popcorn buckets can get out of hand. I mean, they can get definitely. It's addicting.
Do you have a lot of them?
I do. I got a
He's
lot.
got a whole shelf. Like,
I got a whole
probably.
thing. Yeah, it really spirals and gets out of control
Did
after
you
a
get
while.
these guys?
I have not. No, I haven't gotten them yet.
I
I love. I
wish
love.
I could have gotten the one last year. It was Rafiki holding up Simba. Did you get that one?
I did not. No, I get a lot of like the. I got like the Electrical Parade ones, some of the Toontown ones, a lot of the park related ones I get.
That's something I want to go to. So I will make my way one day. One day, I don't know when. Hi, Freddie. How's it going? Over to the Disneyland side of things because I want to go to Toontown real bad, and I've seen videos that they're actually making it better. Because I had seen that or heard at least that it was going down. It wasn't really that great, and then they they renovated everything. So that looks. I'm very interested in that, and I also want to go to Knott's Berry Farm.
Nice.
Over there in California. It looks like a cute little park. I love Peanuts and Snoopy, so I need to get over there.
Well,
Yeah,
and
the
they're
Southern
not
California circuit.
exactly, and they're not that far from each other. Like Knott's is like maybe what would you say, Dre? Like maybe 10, 15 minutes from Disneyland? Maybe not even that much.
Maybe
Well,
not
they
even
were
that, a
friends,
couple
right?
blocks.
Walter Knotts and Walt Disney. They did that on
Oh,
purpose,
yeah.
right? That's something I learned from Roto Commish. You guys gotta have a chat with Roto, especially once he gets his channel up and he's doing more. You guys would have a great conversation with him. He's very deep into the history of things. And anytime I'll say something in my chats I don't know about, and then if he's in the chat, he's like, well, and then he tells me the facts. I'm like, thank you. But in a good way, not like as a matter of fact, like no, as in like, listen, I got you.
So does he have a YouTube channel right now, or he's working on that?
He has it made. I actually helped him with it, get it set up. It's Adventures with Roto Commission. He's going to be going to theme parks, doing food reviews, doing like nature stuff. So yeah, I wish he was here right now. He's recording though. I think right now he's over at Disneyland, and he's going to go to Knott's Berry Farm and do some recording. But yeah,
That's really cool.
And he does love you guys. I think he watched. I think he might have said he was watching you guys before he even found like Jay and Park Hopping and stuff. So he's been watching you guys for a while. Yeah.
We should have him on.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll send. He doesn't want to make a Twitter. I told him he asked me if you want to grow your channel. He's like, I know it's a necessary evil. He hates Twitter, but I'll send you guys his info. I'll tell him like, listen, OG wants to talk to you. You gotta make a Twitter. Sorry,
you got to come on.
You gotta do it, and I'll send you his info. He'll be like, oh my god, he's gonna like be starstruck. He loves you guys.
Oh, okay, that's great. Let's have him on. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And he's absolutely right about Twitter. Like I've. Oh, you have no idea how many times I've thought about it.
And he's absolutely right about us. We're awesome.
Before we wind down, we got a little bit of time. I don't want to keep you guys too late. I usually only go for about 2 hours. I mean, for me, it's 10 o'clock. What is it, like 7 o'clock for you guys right now?
7, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm on your time, Wicked.
Okay, so it's still late for you. But so what made you guys want to start creating content surrounded around the theme parks? Like what was there like a moment where you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on YouTube and I'm gonna just start making videos? Like was there, or did you just, my story is not that interesting, but I like asking other people because some people have some pretty interesting stories for why they started getting into content creating. So
You want go ahead, Dre, and then go
Yeah.
with me. And then
Yeah, we'll go.
Yeah,
we'll go
yeah.
in order.
So OG was already established at this point, and I remember you telling me, "Hey, I want to start a YouTube channel." Here we go, and he will tell you that portion of the story. But for me, I was very supportive. I was like, "Oh yes, that's awesome. That is so great." I think there is a lot of potential in this space, right? Talking, commentary about theme parks. I think that's really, really cool, especially the Southern California parks. They don't get a ton of love, so I thought that was really awesome. But for me, it was like, well, I don't know if I want to be in front of the camera. I don't know if I really want to do that. But I still want to, I don't know, provide content to people, and I was doing it through Twitter. That was like, really informational, really kind of informative stuff that could be easily overlooked and stuff. And I was providing content that way via Twitter, just some tweets. And it was I was satisfied with that. But then the whole world decided, hey, you know what? Everything you knew? It's not going to be the way it was anymore. Obviously, with the events of 2020. So that kind of upended, obviously, everybody, right? And but it really affected the parks themselves, especially Disneyland, because, the California parks are unique from the Florida parks, and they had to be closed longer than, than the rest of them.
How many days, Ray? How many days?
Disneyland was closed for 412 days.
There you go.
412 days it was closed. And right around about the halfway point in all of that, by around the 200-day mark in October, or the fall, I should say, I was just really upset because we had just seen a whole summer of Walt Disney World opened. It was operating just fine. They were taking precautions. There weren't outbreaks in the area. There weren't outbreaks among guests. And it's like, okay, why is Disneyland still closed? So I created like a 60-tweet thread talking about, the science of opening a theme park, how these restrictions that California was imposing were completely just ridiculous, and just going on and on about it for a great length of time, which we actually did share once again, OG, on our show when talking about the great governor there in California. But anyway,
Trey lives in California too, by the way, so he understands.
Right. Exactly. So Trey, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, OG looked at that. He's just like, listen, this is ridiculous. A 60-tweet thread. Come on. You could get out a message that is much more concise in a kind of edible format that is video. And you wouldn't have to spend, because I spent like a month on the thread, researching everything, getting everything together, and just formatting everything. And he's like, you don't have to do nearly half of that if you're going to do it on video form. How about you come on the show and talk about it? Talk about that kind of stuff on there. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll do it. And we started off talking, I think the first one was Lucasfilm, right?
Yeah.
And talking about, what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy at the time, and how, the industry was changing and all that. And then we eventually started to get out into the parks realm, which is, what OG55 specializes in for sure. And it just kind of built in from there. But initially, yeah, I was apprehensive about being on camera at all, because it was just like, oh, I don't know about all this. But OG was right, of course, which he usually is, to be fair. And he provided a platform for which I could be as informative for people and highlight the kind of lesser known stories, but do it in a way that, that was a little bit more 21st century.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, it's getting in front of the camera can be rough sometimes. And just real quick, good night, Sonia. Thank you so much. She's always active in the chat. Such a sweetheart. Thank you. And she also said she subbed to you guys, so she'll be popping in
sweet.
and saying hi over there too. She's very
Love
sweet.
it. Thank you.
And if you
I was
don't,
the same way. Like, oh, go ahead.
oh no, get finished.
No, I was just gonna say, getting in front of the camera is kind of the hardest part. And then once you do it and you see that it's not that bad, that's when it makes it all easier.
Yeah.
Doing all this.
See, it was very easy for me. See, because this is all camera. This is all camera.
All camera.
All camera.
On camera.
Yes. So it's my turn, I guess. Dre, you're done.
Yeah. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so yeah, so I've always been into this stuff. Like I've been on social media like since AOL dial-up, talking Disney, all this stuff. And around 20 and then 2014ish, I was watching a lot of YouTube leading up to like the Star Wars, the sequel trilogy premiering, right, in 2015. So I was watching a lot of like Christian Harloff, like Jedi Council, stuff like that. And I really liked his show with like Mark Ellis and John Campea talking Star Wars. And so I was kind of like, I want to start my own channel where we're kind of talking about theme parks like that, like kind of breaking it down. Because a lot of theme park content creators focused more on like being in the parks and, you know, like going on the rides and what have you. But I wanted to do something more like what Harloff does, but with theme parks, where we just kind of talk about stuff and really like nerd out, deep dive into all of it. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the inspiration. And then I think it was like 2016, I finally pulled the trigger and I started the channel. And I was doing like a lot of solo videos from like 2016, 2017, 18, 19, up until 2020, the Pandy, you know? And that's when I reached out to Dre and I was like, hey, come on the channel. And, you know, I said, you know, you'll have your own show. You can just record your videos and send them to me. And then you'll have like this platform, you know? So brought him on. And then I would say maybe just a few weeks or maybe a few months later, I brought George on because George is our Walt Disney World guy. He's an East Coaster. He's familiar with Walt Disney World and the cruise lines. And I brought George on, and the rest is history. And now we recently added Jay Shear, who does like the Story Geek show. So we're growing, you know. Nice. But but it was just kind of like I just kind of wanted to have a space where I can kind of just talk about this stuff and like with people that were into it too. And just kind of nerd out, you know, like who else are you going to talk to about like, you know, I don't know, Christine McCarthy, right? The CFO, like, you know, everyone I know in my world, like at work and stuff, they don't care about any of that stuff,
well,
right?
OG, to be fair, I do know someone who does absolutely love to talk about Christine McCarthy, like all day, every day. It's just Christine McCarthy. You know who that is?
Who?
Christine McCarthy.
Oh yeah, well that's right, guys. That's exactly it. Yeah, exactly it. Oh yeah,
discussion right there.
Yeah, exactly. Dre does a great McCarthy. Dre, if you can kind of like go on a little bit on the McCarthy voice to show.
Oh yes,
it's fantastic.
Yeah. It doesn't sound.
Gotta get into the mode.
It doesn't sound anything like her, by the way, but it sounds very
robust. And thank you very much, right there.
Yeah, it's.
Wait, well, no, she's not hot. She looks like Jerry from Succession, basically.
Yes, yes. I've read articles where you know they say that she sounds like a robot almost on these earnings calls and stuff like that. For people unfamiliar, Christine McCarthy was the CFO of the Walt Disney Company, but you know that's the thing, OG. Nobody was talking about how can the CFO impact what's going on at the parks, right? And they do have a lot of influence, but nobody really talks about that. So, like Casual, who was in the chat earlier, for example, he just came up to us and be like, "There's nobody doing what you do. Like you're the only ones in the space talking about this kind of stuff at a level in which is consequential, but it's also very informative, and it's almost revolutionary." So yeah, we just kind of produce the stuff that we ourselves want to hear, honestly, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just kind of the gist of it, you know. It just kind of started off as solo stuff, and then it just kind of I started to bring Dre and George and then Jay on, and now we have a lot of guests and what have you, and we've even branched out. Like originally it was mostly just theme parks, but now we dip into a lot more stuff, like a lot of the film stuff too. And it's been fun.
That's good. It's to do that because when I was first on your guys' channel, all I had was gaming clips that I uploaded from my gaming streams. And now I do this, and I make other videos just talking about pop culture and like social media related news. And I'm actually really happy that I did that because it's a lot more fun having a range of stuff to talk about and saying my opinion. And I don't really edit that much either. So sometimes I'll come on and like but I think people like that because it's more real. Like I do edit, but like if I say something stupid, I'm like, whatever, I'll keep it in because the next line fits. Like, I don't care. I'll just keep it in. Like Trey's probably, he never edits, which is really funny about Trey's videos when he does his reviews. I always talk about it because it's just, there's not at least not that I found. There's no one quite like him on the platform. He's definitely it's different. See, Trey, what's editing? He does it like so he's a Mary Jane enthusiast, and he does that on his videos, and he'll just start coughing, and he just keeps going, and people think it's the funniest thing. So anyway, and he keeps talking. He doesn't even comment on it. It's hilarious. He's
well,
yeah.
Well, that's the cool thing too. That's why like when I started it, I didn't want to do any scripting or anything like that. Like a lot of content creators, they'll make a script. I'm like, I'd rather make mistakes verbally and just have it be more authentic, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes I will edit something out if I'm just like, oh wait, crap. Like I'll edit that out. Like if I say something I'm recording, I do better live, which is weird. I do way better on live streams than when I sit down and record, unless I have something I'm really passionate about. Like a very random video I just made that actually got almost like 2K views now.
Wow.
I was talking about this really silly thing that Pokimane said, and I'm like, you know what, I have to cover this. And yeah, she says a lot of silly things. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna upload a video. And I seen the videos, and I was like, oh, I'm like, Oliver Sims are gonna come for me. It hasn't been that bad yet, though. They haven't found me yet.
Good. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no.
She did this thing, so I switched over. I will still do Twitch randomly, but I'm over on Kick because they take really good care of their creators. I don't know if you guys have heard about that whole. I'm sure you heard about it. And she's, like Twitch's golden girl, so she made a video or there's a little clip on her stream where someone asked her, and instead of just being like, no, I like it over here on Twitch, she decided to come at people that switched over to Kick. And it was just the silliest, dumbest stuff I heard. And at one point, she's like, someone could probably say this better than me. I'm like, yeah, they could. I don't doubt that. Like, it was, so I made a video on that. So I do a lot of random things now, but my channel just, I don't want to say it skyrocketed, but for me, it did. Because I finally got monetized and everything. It took a while to get there. Even when I was on your channel, I remember you guys saying that you couldn't believe I had such a low amount of subs. But gaming is kind of dying on YouTube. And once I realized that and got my groove of what I wanted to do, going on other channels, it just really picked up.
Nice. You found your niche. Your niche.
I did. Yeah. Just who knew I was so good at talking?
George, what got you into it, man?
Yeah, so with me, so I just like these guys, I was always fond of like having very as Mr. Vaskai puts it, robust discussions and a lot of times I couldn't really find people that shared the same common interest. It's like I would bring up in-depth conversations of the Walt Disney Company and the parks and what have you. And it's like, okay, people would talk about it and then they're like, okay, they'd move on. It's like, okay, you're really not getting it. You're not speaking my language, and I do speak a little bit of fluent Italian, but this is far beyond that. But so, and then when social media came about and with YouTube and the vloggers and everything, I started getting into the Disney community where it's like, whoa, there are people out there that share the same common interest as me. And I started out on just an audio only Disney podcast. Didn't do so well. The creator then reached out to me for a second podcast, which went very well, but some issues occurred and I ended up leaving the podcast. But in the midst of that, I stumbled upon Orange Grove 55. And the thing that with his channel that separated from everything else was, you would constantly see, vloggers and social media out on location in the parks talking and showing the same exact thing and just in their own opinion. Orange Grove did something completely different where it was more like of a news setting, reporting type of commentating, but bringing on the true hard facts. And that is what drew me to his channel. And I watched him from the very beginning. His very first video was talking about Mission Breakout. I'll never forget it. And I would I subscribed, I watched him. Every time he released a video, I started following him on Twitter. And as I said, I was still part of the second podcast. And during and this was after the fact that he had I wrote to him on Twitter. He chose my question, answered it on the video. I was like a freaking fanboy, freaking out that, my name was mentioned on YouTube and what have you. And afterwards, we did a holiday special on the podcast, and it said we decided to invite any kind of Disney social media influencers that, helped spark us to want to do what we're doing. And immediately Orange Grove he was my top contender. I wrote to him on Twitter. He came on as a special guest as our holiday special. This was back in 2019. And afterwards, he and I, just started talking, over Twitter. And I ended up coming on his show for certain shows. Sorry, folks, in the background, if you hear a train, I do apologize.
Should I
go for it? Yeah. So anytime on the OG55 show that when they hear we call it the hype train, that we have this drop.
Oh no! I must have hit that track switch.
There you go. And it's totally cool. We played on ours all the time. No copyright issues at all.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I figured. And speaking of railroads, that's definitely my favorite ride at Hollywood Studios. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad. Oh, it's the cutest little ride ever. It's beautiful.
It's great.
It's honestly, it's definitely, I would say, top 5 in all of the Disney parks, to be honest, for me. And Pirates is up there too. Pirates was a really
you got to go on the ride to understand. It's
yeah.
But so anyway, so that was during the holidays of 2019, and then I ended up coming on OG55's channel for some shows. That's when I met Dre. We were just kind of as guests, just coming on the channel. OG was still doing his solo shows, and then Dre ended up becoming permanently on the OG55 network with Freshly Squeezed. And then OG and I started talking, to kind of cover the Walt Disney World side. So we were trying to come up with something that had to do like with the Orange Bird, because that was more of an East Coast thing. Florida. And then we came up with Citrus Corner. And then that's how it just branched up. But as I said, this guy over here, as I said, I owe everything to, because to allow myself, and I'm for sure Mr. Vashkai can concur with me that, as he had mentioned, to allow us to speak our minds, to speak our thoughts, our opinions, to cover the facts on a platform that he created, and to share that, with us is just a privilege and a blessing. And the fact that we get to do it multiple times a week, every week, almost 365 days a year, there's really honestly no more words to say for that. I'm extremely humble and grateful for it.
Everything we are we owe to OG. It all wouldn't be possible without him. We wouldn't.
You guys are family.
We would not be on
OG
here without
the
OG.
OG
So it's
over here.
Exactly,
everything to him all the time.
Well,
I have their link in the description, just real quick. I've dropped it a couple of times, but just if you guys check them out. It's not just theme park stuff. I know not everybody is, huge on the theme park stuff. Again, as they've covered, there's a range of stuff going on over there, and they're great guys. Their guests are awesome. So,
and all you folks that are still with us, just so you know, we do cover the theme parks. We cover the Walt Disney Company, just Disney in general. But just so you know, especially on the shows that I am on, that it may not be what you consider as the kid-friendly side of Disney. So just know there, if you could handle it and, you put your big boy pants on, come on over to OG55, we have a good time.
Yeah, we do. But it is, there is some, sometimes some language for sure. But speaking of that though, George, a really funny story, and you don't have to mention the channel name or anything like that, or podcast name, but he has a funny story. I guess what happened with you in that channel where you couldn't say a certain phrase.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Now we say it all the time on our channel, but if you want to.
Yeah. So of what OG was mentioning earlier of how, certain times, you kind of have to mute yourself in a way where, you can't say this, you can't say that, but, pretty much on OG55, we're allowed to kind of speak our mind. So I have my, and it's not a copyright slogan, but
it's not even that bad though. It's not even that bad.
No, it's not.
So,
so I use the term balls to the wall. So
That's not
that. Thank you, Mr. Mascot. So yeah, that is like my term, like to say, like, you know, I go for it, I go all in. You know, like I'm going to speak my mind, or if I'm going to do something, I'm going balls to the wall. Well, the podcast that I was part of, and this was actually part of the situation as to why I left, is that I could not use that term. I was not allowed to, and it's
That's
like,
not
well,
bad at all, though.
yes, I
bad,
did,
right?
and it's
Very mild.
like,
It's
yeah,
not even
and-
mild. It's like it's not bad. Like it's border, not even really at the mild level. Like it's just very tame.
It's tame,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him say it. So now we use it all the time. We get it out of his system, right? Anytime he has a rant or anything, it's balls to the wall.
And it was it was so kind of part of the show that somebody in the parks while you were actually visiting, I believe it was Disney California Adventure.
Yes, it was.
Recognized you. Go ahead, tell the story.
Yes, so
Really?
I was actually I was meeting up actually with the guys on a trip to California, but they weren't there yet. So I just kind of had a day to myself, and I was in DCA, and I was in line for Radiator Springs Racers in Cars Land. And I was talking to this woman, and she had her 11-year-old daughter who was about to turn 12 the very next day. And she was telling me, oh, she has a Mad Tea Party themed birthday party set up and what have you.
Aw.
And they're locals and they go to Disneyland all the time. And so I was talking to them while we were waiting in line, and the mother just keeps on looking at me like she is trying to, like she recognizes me, but she doesn't. I mean, I get that a lot from the ladies. I mean, what could I say? But
Sexy
I-
Italian, what can you say, George?
That's so so see, folks, please come subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of fun. But so she's
folks, we only have high class stuff on this show.
Yes,
you go.
absolutely.
So she's looking at me, and I'm like, not thinking nothing of it. And she said, "Forgive me for like looking at you strange." She says, "But you look very familiar." And I said, "I'm not so sure." I said, "I don't believe we've met before." She says, she says, "I watch a lot of like Disney influencers and social media. I'm on, Twitter a lot, and I'm on YouTube." And I said, "Well, there is a place you can find me on YouTube. It's Orange Grove 55." And I said, "We do a lot of coverage on the Walt Disney Company and the parks. We get into a lot of in-depth." And she said, "I'm subscribed to that channel." And she looked at me again. She turned her head and she went, "I know you. You're balls to the wall."
Oh, too funny, George.
There you
America,
go, there you
really
go.
America.
Balls to the wall.
You know what? This is what I have for America's joke.
That's so messed up. That's messed up.
That's a great clue.
America, yeah, that was a great clip. I just didn't even know I have it, but thanks, Jay.
That's awesome.
Americus also has a question for you guys.
Oh, how dark are the jokes?
I mean, I wouldn't classify them as dark, but they get very risque.
I was going to say they're risque, but they're tasteful, where it's like you can get the joke, but without us actually saying it.
Yeah, it's not like super. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Americus will come. Americus is like everyone's favorite troll in a good way. So if you have
awesome.
dark jokes, he will add to them. Actually,
Nice.
So,
Oh well, yes,
sure.
and I'll do Americus. Come on over. It's fun.
You don't know what you've just done. You don't know what you've just done.
The floodgates are opening.
But do
funny.
you guys? Is there anything that you guys wanted to ask me? Anybody in the chat? Do you have any questions for these guys? Because we'll get ready to wrap up soon. I don't want to keep them too long. I'm sure they got to get ready for dinner and stuff or something. It's Saturday, and they stream all day. So I'm sure they're-
I actually have a question for you, Wicked.
okay.
Tony's, why?
Because I thought it was gonna be good. I looked up the reviews and they weren't real bad. Again, I wanted Crystal Palace, okay? That's what I wanted. But they wouldn't let me in. But
Well,
and it's the lady in the tram thing. I'm like, this place has got to be cute. And I've gone to quite a few Italian restaurants in my life, and I have to say, Tony's is probably the worst. And that's sad because
Oh,
it's
it
supposed
is.
to be Lady and the Tramp. Like, and I know that, you know, maybe if I would have got like spaghetti and meatballs, I don't know. There's actually right after I went, this is when, like I told you, I when before I do stuff, I asked Drunk 3PO because he's been to all these places. He hadn't been to Tony's. So I was like, all right, I was gonna go to you know, Crystal Palace, but I couldn't. So I'm like, all right, Tony's. He ended up going after. There's a video up on Park Hopping of it, and their food looks okay. Like it looks good. They said it was good. They got like mozzarella sticks and I don't know, maybe something with shrimp. And they also went at a time where it was probably better. I think they went like later at night. I went at like 4 p.m., like in between dinner and lunchtime. But and again, my food looked good when it came out. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, some chicken parm. And then I sure it wasn't cooked, so I was like, yeah, no chicken parm. Just gonna eat the pasta. And it was very disappointing.
If I may ask, you said you went just recently.
Yeah, it was this month, a couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks. I swear, I will be very upset with myself if I knew if you were actually at the parks the same time I was.
It was. Let me look. My calendar has my reservations.
Because then I'm going to go full blown Italian on myself.
You're gonna go balls to the wall, Drew?
I'm gonna go balls to the wall.
I was there. I was at Magic Kingdom on the 7th and Animal Kingdom on the 8th. His camera just cuts out.
Were you there?
I'm trying to think.
I think that might have been before.
Oh, I think
you.
I was. No, I was.
No, you were there.
I was.
The 8th, yeah.
Son of a gun.
Wow.
To tell this story, George, you got to tell this story.
I guess I have to tell. Yes, I guess I have to tell. Yes, I guess I got to tell the story. This would actually be a very nice kind of wrap up sort of thing. So, just recently, I went out to Disneyland for the Memorial Day weekend. You know, we got to see the flag retreat. You know, we got to do the final ride of Disneyland Splash Mountain, which was phenomenal. I'm so glad because I didn't get the opportunity to do it at Walt Disney World. So I'm so glad I was able to do it at Disneyland. And it was just a 4-night trip. You know, nothing fancy. It was a spur of the moment decision. I asked the guys if they could make it. Unfortunately, OG wasn't able to make it, but Dre was able to come. Our buddy Casual, our good friend Mindy, and several other people. I'm like drawing a blank here. But so the 4 nights was up. And what was actually kind of funny was the night before, I was thinking of changing my flight to an earlier flight. And Mr. Vaskai encouraged me. He said, no, he was like, just leave it. He said, you know, you get to sleep in a little bit, you know, every little bit counts, you know, especially since we're up all hours, late night at the parks, you know, and everything. So I thought, okay, I'll leave it. So I ended up having a connection flight into Denver. And that's where all the issues started. I ended up having 2 delays and then my flight got canceled. So then it said, speak to the person up at the front counter or what have you. Well, here they already had rebooked me, so I didn't have to go to the front counter. And they said the only way kind of out to get back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was they were going to fly me from Denver. Short layover. I just stay on the plane in Chicago, and then they fly me down south to Orlando. And I thought, I've never had a connection flight in Orlando before, never. Yeah, and it was kind of strange, you know. Yeah. It's like, you know, you go west to go south to go north, you know. So it's so I really didn't think nothing of it. So I had a lot of time to kind of reflect on the plane, and I thought, by the time I get there, it's going to be really late. And I thought, okay, but I was getting the red eye, mind you, when I got to Orlando. So by the time I landed in Orlando, the timing was incorrect and the red eye left without me.
Oh, no.
So Southwest, I have to say, to their credit, was very gracious. They comped me my whole entire flight, which is completely unheard of. But I guess they just took one look at me and they knew I was Italian. So
they got scared.
Yeah. So and then they gave me a food voucher, and they said, we can get you on the next flight the very next morning. First flight, you can fly out. And I thought, well, I have to stay here one night in Orlando. I'm like, I must be nuts but I told them, hold off the flight. I'll get it myself when I'm ready. So I ended up calling Disney, and they had, and since it was after the Memorial Day weekend, they had 80% of the hotel rooms opened.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had literally the pick of the litter. So I just wanted something kind of cheap, I don't want to say cheap, but on the frugal side. So I went with the All-Star Movies. They had a room. I already have my annual pass. And I thought, well, am I going to be able to get theme park reservations at this late in the game? Was able to get the theme park reservations.
Nice.
And I thought, so I'll spend 4 nights at Walt Disney World, which, as I said, I've done spontaneous trips before, but I have never deviated a trip
that much
into a trip.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So on I think it was day 3 at Walt Disney World, I said, oh, I have one more day and then I leave tomorrow. Well, I thought, well, what if I add 3 more nights? Yeah, how bad could it be? I'm already down here. I have my annual pass, so I ended up calling Disney, asking, can I extend my 4-night to a 7-night? They said, not a problem. Just pay the difference. And made my theme park reservations. And the next day, I ended up getting a call from Mr. Mr. Vaskai here. He's like, so have you gotten home yet? I was like, no, not yet. And he said, so you didn't board your plane yet? I was like, no, I added 3 more nights.
That's great. Now, Freddie's asking why Citrus Corner. It's kind of.
I'll let you take that one.
Yeah,
OG.
it's connected to but Orange Grove 55 is the name. I came up with the name because Disneyland was built on an orange grove, and it opened in 1955. So Orange Grove 55. So when I brought George on, I told him, like, okay, you have a show, you can name it whatever you want. It's I give creative freedom to George, whatever you want. And he was kind of going with like something kind of citrusy or whatever to tie into the name of the channel. And so came up with Citrus Corner. So it's connected to the.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's what's freshly squeezed too. It's
you take the orange, get the fresh.
And I always, whenever I post anything about you guys, which I do, I should have dug it out. I have a lot of clothes still in bins from the move, but I have an OG 55 shirt. I have one. I should have worn it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
If you guys ever have me back on, I'll make sure I have it on.
We'll have you back on for sure. Absolutely.
See. Now that's her subtle way of saying, "Ask me. I want to come back on."
We'll wait until I go to Epcot, and then we'll have a real Disney conversation.
There
and
you
also,
go.
Brodo's gonna be so excited. He's probably exhausted from being in the park today. I'm gonna send him a message and be like, "You got to make a Twitter. OG wants to talk to you." He's gonna be like, "What? Me? Why?" He's gonna be all starstruck. Like, you got this. But no, because he's just anytime I have a question on anything, he's just so. And he hasn't even been to some of the parks. So that's like you guys said, you like to focus. You've been to the parks, obviously, but you like to focus on the history and the behind the scenes stuff. That is your guy. And I'm so happy for him that he's starting a channel. Like he's been a watcher for a while. And now it's about time that he's, getting out there. He had asked me for help. He's like, so how do I go live? Yes, he doesn't know stuff. And I'm like, I got you. I got you. Starstruck Roto would be more funny than regular Roto. Exactly. Oh, we got another question for you guys. What is the most bizarre moment that each of you guys had at some point? Like what like theme park related? Because I feel like there's probably plenty of bizarre moments. Maybe we could put that down to a bizarre moment that happened at
I'd need a billboard for mine.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or at least a bizarre moment, because I'm sure you guys have had some, especially being over there in California. You see some stuff.
You're right.
Oh, yeah, you see a lot
We'll
of
put
stuff.
that down to theme park. Even in theme parks, who knows what you guys have probably seen over at theme parks. But yeah, it's like anything bizarre you've ever seen.
What do you say, Dre?
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, I as far as bizarre, seeing things. I mean, man, I had to think. I really
Again, they're
think
in
about
California,
that.
guys.
But I'll say this though: what is kind of bizarre and channel related is George. I think me, you, maybe even you, OG, and Mindy, which is a friend of the channel. we were all at Disney California Adventure together. When the park was relaunched in 2012, but we didn't know each other, but we were all there at.
It was for the opening. It was for the opening of Cars Land.
Wow.
That was kind of a bizarre, like we were doing the math on it. We were like,
and
wait, I was there, and you were there. You were there. We were all there, but we didn't know each other.
And we actually discovered that while we were walking together in Cars Land. We just got off of Radiator Springs Racers, and we were right by Flo's V8 Cafe. And I don't know how we got onto the subject matter. And one of us said, I was here like at the grand opening of this. It was like, really? Like the actual grand opening? I was like, yeah, so was I. Wait, so was I. And as we said, like we didn't know each other then, but yet we were all semi-connected in the community of what sparked our interest. And little did we know that here we are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's wild. One weird thing that happened to me at Disneyland years and years and years ago. This is weird. Okay, so I was at this pizza place at, you know a lot about pizza, George.
Of course I do.
You're Italian, right? No, but I was at the pizza place in Tomorrowland, right? And I went in there and I tried to use my card and it got declined. It was like, when your bank has like, they do like a fraud thing on it, even though it's not fraud, right? And they won't honor the charge, So I'm trying to ring up my pizza and there was a couple behind me and I had the fraud thing and I had to go out of line to call. And this Hispanic family follows me out of the pizza place and they don't know what's going on, but this whole family is like, we saw what happened. And they just start handing me money. Like go buy food. They are handing me. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm on the phone with them. It's fine. It was the most surreal thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like you are way too nice, like way too nice. And they were all trying to give me money. I'm like, no, it's okay. I just have to call and accept the charge or whatever, But that was really bizarre to me. I've never experienced that level of kindness from a stranger in my life.
Dre, can you do me a huge favor? Would you mind taking a note to help me find a really nice Hispanic family when we go to Ohana's?
Yep. Will do. Don't even worry about that. I'll get that going.
He's on it.
Yeah, but that was really weird in a good way. It was weird, but in a good way.
Yeah, nice.
There are good people out there for sure.
Yeah.
Even in California sometimes, we got some Wicked's right. We got some people out here that are
I'm from New York State, not New York City. I've been to New York City, but so yeah, I understand it's a little weird over there, but there's a lot of amazing people. Just because the area or the government over there is crazy don't mean everybody is. I just know that, especially in LA, that you can see some stuff. I've just seen enough on videos and stuff.
We were at Universal Hollywood. OG, come on. We were at University of Hollywood together. And
this is crazy.
Right? Tell them.
We were sitting at Moe's Tavern there. They have a Springfield Simpsons themed area over there. So we were sitting at Moe's Tavern and we were just having our lunch, kind of eating and, enjoying our time together. And this guy sits down next to us and talks about like his I don't know, like randomly starts talking to us about his experience with aliens or whatever. And
he had the crazy hair. Was he like aliens? Yeah.
He was one of those guys. No crazy hair, unfortunately. I believe he was wearing a cap, if I'm not mistaken. But he just starts going in like we have never met this guy before. We've never seen this guy before. And he just starts talking to us like we've known him for years. And just goes into this whole diatribe about aliens. And it's like, this is totally bizarre. And he's like, bro, when I leave right now, you won't even remember this whole thing. Like you won't even.
That to you guys?
Yeah, like he reminded us.
I am an alien. You won't remember this. I'm gonna remove the
Right. He's like, go ahead, OG.
No, I'm glad you remember that because that's definitely one of the most bizarre things I've ever experienced. And he sat like right next to it.
Obviously it worked because OG forgot about it.
Exactly.
He was almost, he just remembered. He's sitting right next to us too, like right up, just Oh god.
Oh man, he just jumps right into it too. It wasn't even like there was no foreplay at all. It was like, so
You just walked up and was like, so
Aliens.
aliens, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, it was so weird. It was so like, what did we just experience right there? Maybe he had, too much drink or whatever, but
something
it
else.
was.
yeah.
Something of the herbal
I think it might have
kind.
been something a little more
A
intense.
stronger, something stronger. He had some mushrooms or something.
Delay.
So Hokie says a long time ago in Disney World, a woman who was not an English speaker needed directions to Kissimmee, so she walked up to my uncle and said, "Kissimmee." Your uncle like, "I will not kiss you, ma'am."
No. Oh, that's funny.
Oh God,
that's
Americus would have had way too much fun. Like he probably would have ended up becoming buddies with a guy to be.
Oh, yeah. Americans would have had some fun for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, it was kind of uncomfortable getting up though, wasn't it, Dre? Like we didn't know if this guy was like gonna follow us or what. Like
Right,
he
we
was
just didn't
weird.
know. It was like, OG, you want to go? Yeah, let's go. And it was like,
We're gonna go that way.
okay, we're good to go.
We're going over there. Oh, that was funny. Funny stuff.
Okay, whatever. But all right, I guess we should wrap it up. We didn't go that much over, so I'm proud of us. I go over. It happens a lot, especially when there's so many people on a panel and we got a lot to say. Is plug what you guys got going on? Like, what's the next show that you got going on, or anything big happening? Any news?
Well, we have a big show coming up here, OG, on Monday. We're going to be talking to somebody, I believe, is a writer at The Wrap, and we're going to be talking all about Warner Brothers and what's going on there.
I gotta catch that one. Are you guys is it going to be live or are you recording?
Recording.
Okay, well, I'll catch the premiere then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. But OG, why don't you fill in the guests or fill in the viewers about what that's going to be all about?
Yeah, no, I mean, you summed it up nicely. She's from The Wrap, editor from The Wrap, and we're going to be talking about this whole like Turner Classic Movies kind of situation, right? Zaslav and the layoffs and the reorganization over there. We're going to try to dip into some Disney stuff, obviously, as well. So that'll be Monday. We're going to be recording on Monday, so it probably won't premiere until Tuesday.
Right.
Okay.
But
that's people looking for it.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, overall, we just do a lot of we're gonna be doing a lot of theme park stuff, obviously. I've actually made a few K-pop videos lately. I'm just out of control.
Oh yeah, I know. He sent me a message. He was like, "Look at what they said."
OG. I sent her the clip where it say OG.
Nice.
So yeah.
Hi A2. Oh, we're getting ready to end, but thank you for coming in.
What's up? So, but yeah, just come check us out. We have a good time, talk about all kinds of stuff. And Wicked, I just want to thank you so much for having us on. It was a lot of fun, as always.
It's about time. Like I said, the first channel I was on was their channel, and they were these guys were one of the first people that knew about Wicked's World. I told them I'm going to start a podcast, but then I moved, and it just got, moving is very time consuming, and I had to get so after I was settled here. I mean, this is episode 18, so I'm moving along. I try to do 2 a week now, but they were 3 of the first people that even knew about this. So it's about time that I got you guys on. So I appreciate you guys are my first group chat too, doing a panel like this. I know we didn't go live, but it was my first time doing it, so it was nice. I appreciate you guys helping me get the swing of that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then we'll have you back on, and we'll talk some Epcot and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I don't know if you want to keep the group chat going on Twitter. You might as well. I'll update you guys too when if I have questions and stuff too. When I do go, it'll be soon. I might wait, like George said. I might wait until the next festival because the Flower Garden ends July 5th, and I'm just not sure that I'll be able to make that one right now. So if I can, it'd be great. But again, I might make the plan, and then it's a thunderstorm, crazy hurricane, crap. So I'm like.
We have a big trip coming up, going to all kinds of parks.
Yeah, I was just going to say, OG 55 is hitting the road. So we're from
I want to see a vlog.
Like literally from California to Florida to
driving?
to the no. I'm just using the term of hitting the
Okay,
road. Just
I can
'cause-
see you guys doing a road trip, and I'm like, I need to see.
Well,
some
eventually
vlogs.
we would
You
like to
should.
do that. I would love to do like Route 66, like that type of like that would be
That'd
kind
be
of
sick.
That would be a good video.
But yeah, we're hitting California first, then we are hightailing it, flying over to Florida, and then we are hitting the high seas for a 3-night Disney cruise to the Bahamas.
Oh, nice. I've never been on a cruise. I'll have to do one day. But I guess I'll have to ask you guys all about it since you are the pros. But yeah, let me know in our group chat, like when you guys will be coming down and everything, and we'll figure it out. Maybe we can even get some of the park hopping people there, like Jay. I'm sure if he's around, he'll come.
Very
I mean,
cool.
he's a busy bee with the book and everything, but depending on the time, we'll try to harass him into coming.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He's
We
great
love
to go to the parks with. I've been to Hollywood Studios with him. There's actually a video on Park Hoppin' of us on like the Millennium Falcon and stuff. It was for my birthday, and I was like, Jay, please, I need someone to come to the parks with me that knows what's going on. And I picked Hollywood Studios. He's like, all right, fine. I pestered him for like 2 months about it, and then yeah, so he's really fun to go to the parks with.
Cool.
So that would be a good time.
Awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, guys, make sure you're subbed to these guys. They're awesome, and I'm really looking forward to Tuesday. It'll be your Tuesday show. I'm telling you, these guys got some interesting stuff going on over there. So again, my mods have been dropping their links, or your link, sorry. And yeah, follow these guys on Twitter. I should have had the links set up. I'm sorry.
Oh, and also, if you do subscribe to the channel, we are trying to hit our 5,000 sub mark. If you do subscribe to the channel, it puts you in the running for a $100 Disney gift card. So just keep that in mind.
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone likes gift cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I in the running? No, I'm just kidding. Give it to someone else. I'm kidding. I mean, I've been subbed for over a year. I'm kidding. Yeah, there it is. There's the
Again,
list, guys.
again, that's Wicked's subtle way of saying, give it to me. I want it.
I need popcorn buckets. Come on. It's a habit now. But all right, guys, we're gonna end this. I appreciate everyone for hanging out. I know there's a lot of people live right now, so the fact that you guys decided to hang out with us, I appreciate that. And you guys know the drill. Since I'm messing with my sounds right now, there's going to be music and then the outro. that's just how it goes. Make sure you're subbed to these guys. Thank you guys again so much for coming on, and I will see everyone later. Bye. Gotta keep waving for a minute. Now, all right, here we go. Bye, guys.